Yo, 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 yo,
What
yo.
up?
Are you laughing at this?
Yes, Matt will be coming out.
Literally.
He just said before the
Coming
bell
in
even
hot.
rings to start
Coming in
swinging.
hot. Yes,
What?
I love it. Hi,
Matt, I was
Matt.
looking through my closet to see if I had a fucking highlighter hoodie and I didn't. I was slacking. I was like, damn
I
it.
should have found something bright or one of my like crazy jackets just in
You should have worn
honor
a
of
jacket that's
Seth
on your
Rollins.
profile picture.
I am going to change into a jacket at some point, and maybe
Okay.
some sunglasses just for Seth Rollins because tonight is Seth Rollins Appreciation Night. Welcome back to Fan Club. Welcome back, crew. I was very excited about tonight because I am a huge Seth Rollins fan and I have such a huge respect for his work. I think it is time for us to show him a little bit of appreciation because he is what you call a workhorse. And those people, you're so used to seeing them, you're so used to watching them perform at such a high level that you kind of don't appreciate it sometimes. So I want to get into everything that we love about Seth Rollins. I also want to take a moment and talk about his wardrobe because that is why I'm going to change into something because King Troy has my guy lit all the time. Like no misses, no misses. Hey, Rakasha. So happy early birthday. Shout out to my sis, Krista B. Her birthday is also on Saturday. And we were all at Watch What Happens NXT's Roblox viewing party last night, which was so lit. It was so fun.
Too much fun.
It
Too
really,
much
really, really
sauce.
was. Oh God, yeah. And Roblox was a pretty good show. I'm glad that I was able to pop up and kiki with you. I could literally watch and talk wrestling with you all day long. And everybody that joined us, including Rakasha and Matt, we had a full house. It was a beautiful thing. It was a lot of fun. Of course, Justin cutting it up in the comments. You can never Brian H. Waters as well. So thank you for tuning in to Watch What Happens NXT. Thank you for supporting all of our content tonight. If you're new to Fan Club, this is our weekly wrestling fan club where we talk about a variety of topics. Last week we got into we kind of celebrated black wrestlers that we felt were underappreciated to close out Black History Month. Hey, Black Thoughts. And then the week before that, we did the Women of Elimination Chamber. So it's always a lot of fun here because we talk about the fun shit in wrestling again. Like we're wrestling fans, we get together and we just like gush about everything we love and get into a couple of disagreements. So it's like I get kicked out sometimes, but it's always a good time every Wednesday here on Those Wrestling Girls Twitch. So we have been in our content creating bag lately, like all of us. Like we are on the road to WrestleMania, probably one of the biggest WrestleManias yet. In Philly. What are we, 30 days away now?
Exactly.
Exactly 30 days
Exactly
away.
30 days away. And this is the most exciting time for us. So I think that's why we're all kind of just like really excited. We're all like kind of preparing in our different ways. And so it was really good to kind of take a moment before we get to the madness of Mania. And I was able to sit and write for the first time in a long time. And I resurrected my Words with PR blog. So please check that out. It's the link. Thank you. The link is in my Instagram bio. So please check that out. I would love your feedback on it. I talk about my road to WrestleMania on a personal level, some of my memories of Wale Mania, and just some of the, my favorite things that happened in interviews that we did with Emilio Sparks and the where WWE pops culture stories that I've been able to kind of connect with like real life people, real life wrestling fans. So it's been a really amazing couple weeks for that. So check out my blog. Let me know what your thoughts are. I do want to write a guide for WrestleMania because I know a lot of people are traveling to Mania for the first time this year, and it is a very overwhelming experience. And this will be my third one, God willing. And I can tell you, and I was here at the New York one as well, and even that was fucking exhausting, and it was home.
It was, Jesus.
Right, it was like, especially if you did everything, and now it's going to be ramped up to 1,000. So I'm going to do a guide of sort of what to expect, how to prepare, what to pack, how not to overpack. Everything that I basically, did wrong, going to Dallas and California last year. I basically, especially content creators as well, just kind of give some advice and some pointers for that, just to also just take care of yourself, because your adrenaline is so high. You're so excited. You're surrounded by all of these electric wrestling fans. Like, you can literally feel it in the streets. So, I want to prepare everybody for that so they have the most fun. I do want to do a guide of all the wrestling events. I have all the wrestling shows happening in Philly. Jesus. There are like almost 100 wrestling shows that week in Philadelphia and neighboring areas. If there are any non-wrestling events happening, like Wale Mania, get your tickets. We had a phenomenal interview with Emilio Sparks, one of the co-founders of Wale Mania. Check that out also on Those Wrestling Girls YouTube. It was really good. So those sorts of events I want to, inform people on, because this could really be a really life-changing week. And I want to do whatever I can so that everyone has these life-changing weeks during Mania season. So I say we take a quick break, and welcome everyone to the fan club, by the way. In the comments, let us know what your favorite Seth Rollins memories are. What versions of Seth Rollins, do you like the best? When was his best eras? Is he a heel? Is he a face? We are getting into all things Seth freaking Rollins. So let's take a break, and we'll start our appreciation night.
All right.
Michael Buffer, the legendary ring announcer whose voice I feel like I've been listening to my entire life, praised Samantha Irvin on Twitter after discovering a video of her on, I forgot, one of the reality shows that she was on, and she played the flute and sang beautifully. And he tweeted, "Wow, first time seeing this. Samantha Irvin, who always kills it as the ring announcer for WWE, is a dynamic musical talent with voice and performance presence. Definitely need to have her do the national anthem at WrestleMania. Let's get ready to rumble." This is huge. And Samantha Irvin tweeted, "Wow, thank you so much, Mr. Michael Buffer." Imagine, imagine one of the best in what you do discovers your old work and praises that, and also the work that you're currently doing that he's done before. Like, she is officially goated. Samantha Irvin, you are killing the game. Congratulations on this accolade and just all of your success. This is literally just the beginning. So shout out to you, girl.
That's my favorite show. That's my favorite show.
Thank
Definitely
you.
a bop.
I do love pop
because we still be trying to find some of these fashions from NXT, like specifically jackets that certain somebody is wearing. So I be tuning in just in case you find said jacket.
Yes, I am on that, because I definitely want to do more fashion related stuff on that show.
And then there's things that happen. There's things that happen that I didn't know was happening, and then you bring them up, and I'm like, oh shit, that's actually cool.
Right, like, and it kind of just like, it's not the exciting shit. Like, it's not like the messy, spicy stuff. So it's like, okay, like, people would rather talk about like Vince. But then it's like, you go to WWE's Instagram and you see that like Big E is visiting nonprofit organizations in Philadelphia, or, Michael Buffer fucking goating Samantha Irvin. Like, that shit is like, she can live, like, she is. I'm good.
She's just that girl.
She's that girl now. Like, you can't
IRL.
You cannot tell me anything. So I like talking about those kind of moments. And Seth Rollins, I actually talk about a lot on the show, because I do mention his looks and a lot of what King Troy is doing. is just phenomenal. And he's really able to has a few clients, WWE superstars, and he's really able to, he's a true stylist because he's able to take their individual personalities and really dress their personalities, but also have them try new things, which they, it's like, I used to want to be a stylist, so I can recognize like that true passion for putting looks together, like for sure. Hey, Andre.
Hey, Andre.
Okay, so let's talk about Seth Rollins, Colby Lopez, shall we?
He's so lucky.
Why?
That this show was booked before Monday.
Dude,
wait a minute.
You know why?
Ooh, okay, highlighter.
Oh.
What's up, Scott?
The glasses.
He's got the laugh down. Oh my god.
He do.
I am loving it. That is one of my favorite things about Seth Rollins is the laugh for sure. But when did you guys discover Seth in NXT? Did you guys know about him on the Indies? What was your introduction to Seth?
Ring of Honor.
That's beautiful women.
She was like,
Ring of Honor. Hollow Black.
Wow.
Hollow Black. Your Ring of Honor world champion, pure champion. Literally, whenever you saw him on the indie circuit, you know how people feel the way, like, for example, we feel about Carmelo Hayes, or like somebody who just first time energetic, smart. And he also tied into the era of, working with Samoa Joe before WWE, working with Mr. Sami Zayn, aka Mr. El Jericho, where he was Mr. El Jericho, working with Kevin Owens on a series. That was when I first noticed him. But then when I heard he was going to SCW, I was like, oh, okay. I see who's running things down in Florida. That's the first sign. And when you think about it, with him and him grabbing him and Dean and, Paige and all these other juniors, I was like, okay, now you know who's running. Now you know who's running things down there. Now you can kind of tell what they're trying to do. Trying to invoke it's not just indie hype. It's actually people who they know they can build up past what they know about pure wrestling and make them entertainers. And I definitely knew that them making him Seth Rollins, he's definitely got something.
Definitely.
You can look it up on YouTube. I ain't here to tell y'all. Look it up on YouTube. I'm not going through every single match. It is a lot of matches.
Yeah.
Hey.
Oh, what up, fam? What size of the ring in the building?
Nice. What are your favorite Seth Rollins moments for Sides of the Ring? Let us know in the comments.
Yeah, first time I really like knew who he was to like know was the NXT Hulu days. And old school people remember that when that's how you had to have that subscription.
Or WWE Network.
Yeah, WWE. Well, before that, remember they had Hulu. Because that was the only reason why I signed up, and been pretty much signed up ever since. But it was because of NXT. It was exclusive, and then the network came out, and it was shortly after he had won the title. And that's when I, this is like the early days of Wrestling Rome. It's like I'm trying to get my hands on as much wrestling. So I was like, all right, it's worth the $7 or $8 a month it was at that time. And, I thought the hair thing was interesting, to say the least. But what I thought was cool was how he was able to be world champion. Then the Shield was created, and he was still able to kind of like go back and forth before ultimately dropping that championship. But that's like my first memory of him is that run when he was the world champion, and he gets crowned by Dusty and Triple H.
And for me, obviously I've talked on multiple fan clubs. I started coming back into wrestling at WrestleMania 30. So leaving WrestleMania 30 and following the path of Daniel Bryan, I also followed the path of the Shield and watching Roman and Seth and Ambrose. But out of the three, Seth was the one that really caught my eye for the fact that he felt to me like a hybrid of Brett and Shawn, where he could be technical in the ring like Brett, but he was very like flamboyant and really stood out with some of his movesets like a Shawn Michaels, even like Rocker's version of Shawn Michaels, where it's like you see the tag team, but it's like, who the fuck is that? Because he has my full attention. That's how I felt with the Shield, where Roman would be, you know, the big physical one. Ambrose would do Ambrose things, but Seth was the one that always stood out to me. Where it's like, bro, like you have my full attention. Like, holy fucking shit.
Yeah, I discovered him like after the Shield, so I knew like he's gonna put on good matches, but it wasn't like I didn't have any like emotional investment, but I knew like okay, he's clearly like a good worker, like he's gonna go out there, he's gonna do what he needs to do. So like, and I miss like the Authority time too. Like it was more 2017, 2018 where he was kind of like lost a little bit, 2019. So I was just like, okay, like, you know, I wonder what ends up, you know, I was a Dean guy too. So I was just like, you know, whatever. It wasn't until like the Messiah.
Monday Night Messiah.
Yes. And it was something else that he was before that too. But I like that he led like groups. Like I thought like it really showed his range, like his character work, like his comedic timing. Like I just thought it was so good. And when Seth is a character, like he goes all in. Like he doesn't fake it. He doesn't like, you know, I could see him being one of those wrestlers that would keep kayfabe at home. Like that's how much like when he is the Messiah, you felt like he was. Like now you feel like that's what he is. Like I could see him at home wearing that shit. Or even just hearing him and Becky talk about like she'll be like, oh my God, like I'm jealous. Like that jacket is dope. Like, and he's like, yes, like take it all in. Like I'm living in it. So so that was when I first kind of was like, okay, he has potential, but I didn't know what he was capable of. And then literally seeing the last, you know, few years of him just putting on like these 5-star matches, being able to be in any feud, like he could be in the IC title picture. He could be, this is really Seth Rollins appreciation night because I feel like I could go on.
Matt just literally put out one of the best matches to ever watch. If you want to watch a pre-Seth Rollins match, that match with the Briscoes. I'm telling you, you have to be. Oh, go ahead, Brian.
No, go ahead. You still.
I was like, one of the reasons I fell in love with the Briscoes too. It just hits me like, damn, like that girl that was sneaking to Ring of Honor shows when she wasn't supposed to be going nowhere, but it just sneaks in me like that. So that's definitely a match. If you want to bring that comment up, that's definitely a match to look at. It is on YouTube because that is such a good match. Like I wouldn't be surprised if that's one of the matches they watched when they were scouting him because he was that energetic. He was that energetic, and like you know how energetic the Briscoes were. You know how energetic like him and Mark have a spot that just like erupted the entire arena. So I was just like, right here, y'all, like right here. But go ahead, Brian.
I was just gonna go back to go into the next phase for his WWE stuff when the Shield came together. I remember the internet, everybody was thinking, you look at Roman, because you know the lineage, he had Vince McMahon guy all over him, right? Then you had Dean Ambrose, who was like the cult classic. Like everybody who loves John Moxley wanted Ambrose. And for a while it felt like, well, what about Rollins, right? Because while Rollins was putting on those bangers in Ring of Honor, it was a small portion because it felt like, well, we still had somebody like that. You know, you had your CM Punks, your Cody Rhodes, your Zack Ryders, that smaller class. But Ambrose felt like, you know, for them people who love that hardcore wrestling because he was the cult classic, right?
Right.
But then as the Shield was together, when you go back and look at those matches, you see Rollins was really the workhorse. He was doing the work. And man, when the chair shot around the world happened, it was like a moment because it was like, you know, you talk about the other night when The Rock cut the promo. First of all, when he cut the promo on the phone and then in the ring, and when Roman stopped his hand, that's one of them. Pick up the phone, get in, you know, call your friends. Did you see what just happened? Right?
Yeah.
That's what that moment was like when Rollins.
Oh wow.
hit Roman. And it's one of those things you remember where you was, how you felt. And then his authority run, I loved it because he was the first. It's very seldom when you watch wrestling, right? It's very few people who wear the championship the first time that have a good run, right? It's like the numbers, you know, Hogan, Shawn Michaels, Seth Rollins, Kofi Kingston, you know, because most of the time you and John Cena, right? You get that first run, it's like, I don't know, I'm still not buying it.
They trying.
Yeah, it's like get that, wear it for a couple, like even Edge, right? 2 weeks, dropped it, then he finally had a run. You know, we all know how Roman's, well, you know, and even The Rock, it takes you a while to get used to them with the champions. Oh my gosh, Stone Cold, throw him in there too. He was a good one, right? Rollins to me was the, you know, with that modern person. And I remember I never wanted his title. It was never a point in time where I was like, I'm ready for this to be over. I hated the way it ended because it was like the same thing he's doing now, being a workhorse. That's why I was like, dude, can you sit down? Stop putting on these matches because I want you to get your ass to WrestleMania.
Listen, the term "I'm carrying this on my back," he literally is the prototype for that quote. Because like you think of everything he's done, the most like pick up the phone and call moment now that Brian thinks about it was his cash in at WrestleMania. Like for him to do that, and mind you, it was a WrestleMania that was kind of like the dawning of a new era. Like it was like after 30, it was after New Orleans. You just ended the streak. We're in the middle of in California. It's dead in the middle of the night, and this man.
Remember they deemed that the NXT one because everybody, with the exception of Sting and Triple H,
all of them were involved in matches.
Was in NXT at one point in time. That was the NXT WrestleMania.
Yep. And even when I look at that, besides, you know, even with AJ Lee leaving with Paige, and that was a way to go out too. Like you were the longest reigning champion. You go out with somebody you've been pushing to be one of the futures of the company with you. That was perfect. Like Big E getting spotlight the way he was perfect. Even though the Sting match, I didn't like that ending. I ain't gonna lie. I ain't like it. But I did like how they finally put some spec on his name.
It was nostalgia though.
It put some spec on his name.
It's a fun match. It's just the wrong ending.
Yeah, Triple H took too long to come to the ring too. That's my other complaint. But to watch him cash in, like the way he cashed in was so, you know, it gave me a flashback of, and it did give me a flashback of Edge, because you don't expect the new guy with the money in the bank contract to literally just take that opportunity. He really did have his ultimate opportunity time, and the way it was, so it's like right in my head. I was like, yo, I was like, wait, he can't. No, he ain't going. He's not going to be able to like win. Oh shit! They counted 3. He's a champion, and he started swinging it. And like I felt like it was official because the way he used to swing his titles in the air, the way he did it with the NXT championship when he started swinging, I was like, yo, this man.
And you know, the sad part.
He did that.
He don't remember it. He talks about it. He said,
that's what he said. It was such a rush.
It was, you get that rush. And I, like, as a fan of pro wrestling, a fan of moments, a fan of that moment, I feel bad for him because he don't. It's like he was just on such.
You only memory you have as a tape.
Yeah,
the only memory you have is tape in YouTube. That's it. But that's how. But you can see how much on go he was. You know how long that ramp is. You don't remember that.
I was about to say, like, you wonder why he doesn't remember it. It's like, bro, to sprint from the back down that ramp and not bust your ass Titus O'Neil style. Listen, to then in 2 minutes later you're champion and you're running back up said ramp is like, bro, that's an insane 5 minutes, and you're doing that in front of fucking 90,000 people.
People used to ask AJ Lee how Shane busts ass while skipping. So I can only imagine what it's like when you running, like
full fucking sprint with a briefcase in your hand and like, he was like I'm cashing in, but don't push your ass, don't push your ass, don't push your ass. All right, slide in, don't.
And then the ref has to, and then the ref has to follow you. The ref is like they have to try and not fall either because they were in steel toe.
For that one, the ref was already in the ring because that was during the Rock and.
I'm talking about like other I'm talking about like what happened during like Undertaker and Shawn Michaels when they were both clocked out and they clocked out the ref, and that one ref had to like run down to save the match because what's name was covered. You ain't paying me enough. I'm sorry.
Oh, Edge too. Edge and Taker.
Oh
You
my
see him literally.
God, what is it? Little
Charles
Nate
Robinson, I
taking
think,
like an hour to fucking run down that. It's like every time they cut back, he's like, yeah, he's still not close. Let's come back to him. Yeah, he's about halfway. Let's come back to him. I think he's about 5/4 of the way there. Let's come back to him. Oh, I think he's almost there. And it's like, bro, 10 minutes later.
Imagine when Ref Daff and Ref Jesse start doing that. That's gonna be amazing because they in better shape too.
Right. It also makes me think too. I think about the after effect. I always think about the after effect. Like I love the aftermath of WrestleMania, and they did. And Seth really did do a good job making himself an individual. But there was always that concern of like, all right, is this a flash in the pan type thing for him? And I think that's where people start to see like he's struggling. Like they're not putting him. He loses the title. He's not put out as much. And I was like worried for him because I'm like, this is not your flash in the pan. I always felt like, no, this is not your King Liddy in the house.
Hey,
this is not
Liddy.
your flash pan wrestler. Like he's your guy that's going to be able to be your Intercontinental champion, be another tag team champion. Like he's your guy. Like I really don't hope he's a flash in the pan, but I feel like he held himself well. I loved him with the Authority. I'm sorry. Like I just that you don't, like Brian said, you don't see it coming type stuff. I was like, yeah, this is kind of sexy. I like it. Bring it on. It's different.
I can still see that. I can still see that. When I look at clips, I also love that he started doing the pedigree. That was so cool to me. And I'm not normally like a use anybody finisher type shit because I was back in the day when finishers really meant something. So it's like, wait, how you doing a stunner? Like what? But I do like Seth Rollins doing a pedigree. It just made sense. Like something about it just made sense.
I mean, I hear you on that because that's why, like, I've always said, like, the 3D is always my favorite tag team finishing move just because it's so distinct. You connected to the Dudley Boys, but at the same time, no one kicked out of that shit. They hit you with that. That was it. And so it took a long ass time before the Usos finally got that and did the 1D because it was so protected and so like, yeah, we're not fucking with this because that's the Dudley shit. And even the 1D, I love.
I like it better.
You like that one better?
I mean, Brian has his reasons. And
man, that damn Jay. Come back home, man.
Not
the
yet.
Kids missed you.
Not yet. Don't come back home because Jimmy acted an ass. Like, stay away from home. Go to a hotel. Go to another town for a while. Like, nah, your brother wilding. Your brother wilding, and Solo still got the thumb.
Well, maybe if he comes back home, everybody will act right. You know, maybe that's the thought. I'm just throwing it out there.
Gotta be the reason. That damn Sammy. I told y'all. It's Sammy.
It really is. It really is Sammy's fault.
Everything up, and I'm so disappointed in him. And like
he want everybody to
be anybody need to be for Sami Zayn one night because he is just like he really.
So we're really blaming the colonizer for fucking up the family.
Yes, we are.
Always white people interjecting into things, and then
we all know how it feels. So we should definitely be blaming them.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
I mean, I just had to tee that one up for y'all just to fucking swing at that.
I tell you, man, that you know, I will say, like, is the injury for Seth Rollins around that time sucked because it was so like in that you got to think it's hard to maintain momentum as a champion. That's why what Roman is doing is impressive, and what Seth Rollins was doing was incredible at that time. And it's like it's going to end like this off a simple move that that he will always do.
And that's the crazy thing. It wasn't like anything like he does like wild and crazy in the ring. It's something like a lot of wrestling talent, they all basically say the same thing. It's never the stuff that you think is like the craziest stunt ever that we get injured. It's the shit that we do millions of times. 999,000, we're fine. And the millionth time, that's when a fucking Achilles goes. That's when the knee tweak, you tear a knee ligament. And the shitty thing, to piggyback on what Brian said, the shitty thing about that timing was they were teasing Seth and Roman when we actually wanted it. Because there's been a lot of why haven't we ever gotten the Shield at WrestleMania for the title? And a lot of it is, unfortunately, injuries have played a part. Unfortunately, booking decisions have played a part. unfortunately, Ambrose leaving WWE played a part. And then around
Mhm.
that time, we were going to get Seth and Roman when Seth was having a great run as champion, when we were actually invested in Roman. And then the knee shit happened. And it was just like, fuck. What did he tear? All three? God damn it. That's at least 6 months.
Yeah,
And no
and it's
WrestleMania. And
sucks how that
unfortunately,
happened.
that set up that WrestleMania, just like a lot of the top people got injured. Cena got injured, Orton got injured, Nikki Bella got injured, Bray got injured, and it was just like, fuck, man.
Yeah.
Really?
It was like a
But
domino effect.
and I feel like that's how it happens too. But I
Yeah.
do want to do a time check because it is 8 o'clock, and we watch AEW Dynamite as a family.
New entry. The
New set?
new set's nice, by the way.
I
Yeah,
like
that's
it.
what I was
The
saying.
video package was really nice.
I
You can
like
tell
it.
they're like trying to shove Will Ospreay down my throat, which I will never complain about. But I like it.
Yeah,
I like it.
I do. I like it
Don't
a
make
lot.
that
And they
face, Brian.
and they hired that girl. They hired that girl, that woman that worked for WWE. That
Oh,
everyone
yeah.
says
They-
that
oh,
was
yeah.
a really good hire.
I
Because
just gotta get used to like the stage because the little two entrance things look like highlighted testicles.
Well,
so I just gotta get past
don't
that.
do that. Well, I am someone who watched AEW when it was daily place only because it was pandemic time TV, and so I appreciate them doing this because it's honestly something that's creative and it worked. Because that big Technotron thing that wasn't working. I think this is a little bit more intimate for their crowd. It's probably a little less on the budget side. So now since they're getting sponsors too, it works for them. I like the color of it because it's kind of going back to what it was before.
Yeah, they be having
And at least they're trying stuff. Like WWE does the same thing. Like how many times WWE's changed up their stage? How many times they changed up the ramp? How many times
They need to
changed
change up the person doing the theme music because
that's
if
everything
they
sounds the
change
same
it,
to me. I don't recognize anybody's song.
I'll throw a little flowers to Def Rebel because some of those are bangers. Bailey's theme is a banger. Seth's theme is a banger. They have a couple that are bangers, but I hear you, Seindole, because we got so used to the CFO's music.
Yeah.
And it's just like everyone had unique, distinct identity, and all of them were bangers. That's just like,
yeah,
you're doing a good job, but they were giving us fucking heat. It was almost like fucking like Prime Neptunes or some shit. Where it's like, why can't we just have this?
they did a good job. A few of them are like memorable, but lately it's just not been that. So, and that's why I go into Seth Rollins' like his new theme song. Like I like when he was using Kill Switch. So I was just like, I'm a big from CM Punk. I've been a big Kill Switch Engage person, so I liked that theme song. But then when it came to like this, I was like, okay, this is something that's gonna catch on. And then now when you look at it, you can go into an arena and literally the matches and start for like another 2 minutes because of it.
Right.
So
I've watched clips from house shows where the audience is singing his theme song as the match is going on. They just never stop. They're just singing it the entire time. And when you have that type of connection with the audience, and that has a lot to do with the music, but it has everything to do with Seth Rollins. Not everyone can have that where, this is an era of chant music, like, or sing along music. You got Jericho, Cody Rhodes, Seth Rollins,
Bianca has a sing along one.
Yes,
where
you just like sing it, and like
even
this is
my brutality.
Yeah.
I was like, like I can see someone trying to go to the gym in this theme song. Like that.
No, that's supposed to be helping wrestling themes.
If you want to work out to some good music, you have some wrestling themes in there that'll get you through. Like, oh shit, Rio's thing came on, let's go. Oh shit, Undisputed Era, it's time to get another set in.
I gotta do
that. I threw up some weights on the Tribal Chiefs music. No, I ain't gonna lie.
My favorite.
That's the pre-workout. Like, nah, this guy, we about to whoop this workout's ass. We got Tribal Chief playing. Nah,
the only like right. The only 4 theme songs I know I could bang to. I do like the first theme song Seth Rollins had that is on my playlist. I do like Rhea Ripley's. I'm always gonna have Triple H on there because it's Triple H. It's all about the game and how you play it. And then the song that Alter Bridge gave Judgment Day. That like when you're lifting, then like a deep squat or like doing like a back day, and that comes on, it's just like bang.
I'm glad you brought up Triple H, because how did y'all feel about their relationship?
It was like the teacher schooling the student,
Yeah,
but the student being smarter than the teacher. At
I really
times,
wish we could get more.
I me
I,
too.
especially
I,
now.
I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
Like, even if Triple H, like, obviously we know Triple H can't wrestle, right? Even if people come out there and say, "Hey, calm your little ass down," you out here, he stuff he would say about his outfits, because Triple H is a troll. He thinks that fast on the microphone. You like CM Punk showed, like, the fans learned that CM Punk had to step his game up in 2011 because Triple H was right there. He's so witty. So I look at like Rollins and like, man, just the thing, like, because even back then when they was going at it, their WrestleMania match was a little too long, but that tends to be the case with Triple H matches. But I still enjoyed the feud building up towards.
And at the same time, you got to remember, Seth was on one leg at that WrestleMania because
Exactly,
literally right
well,
after
it's
Rumble,
too
he had the torn meniscus. And we didn't know if he was going to miss a second straight
He's always
WrestleMania. He
hurt.
came back just in time. But if you go back and watch that, you could tell he's not 100%. But he's good enough. He's good enough to wrestle, but he ain't 100%. And I mean, you talk about if Triple H was being able to wrestle now, that'd be some shit that he brings up. It's like, bro, you trying to impress these people. How many times you be fucking up your knees? 32, 33. You look at now, you just came off of the IL with the knee. It's like, bro, like settle down before we have to go get you a fucking like metallic knee.
Oh my
First
god,
of all,
he'll
you in
still fucking
baseball
wrestle
mode.
that shit.
I was about to say that sounded like some MLB terminology.
Yeah, he said IL. I'm like, you in baseball?
Is that injured list?
Yes.
Yes.
I'm sorry.
Got you. Got
I ain't gonna
you.
say it.
So, okay, I have a question for you guys.
Okay.
You've got questions.
What
You got
is
Answer.
the best iteration of Seth Rollins? If like you had to, for whatever reason, Seth Rollins could only be one version of himself. Tyler Black, the Visionary, Seth freaking Rollins, the Messiah, the Authority, the Shield. What is, when you look back in your like Hall of Fame career, what is like the first thing that pops in your mind that's like his best version of himself?
This one.
Seth
Because
freaking
this
Rollins.
is the only one that I can make a justification for being a headliner of WrestleMania.
Slow in the building.
Like, I like the other ones was cool. The Authority figure, as good as it was, he needed Randy Orton to like be right there with him, and then he needed Randy Orton to get out of the way, and that was still good.
Sorry,
I was just saying, but this one right here,
Beast Slayer, Monday Night Messiah, and Seth freaking Rollins all evolutionized Seth freaking Rollins. So basically, I basically feel like Monday Night Messiah and Beast Slayer made Seth freaking Rollins, because it's a lot of times where wrestlers, they put gimmicks on, and I hate to do this. I hate to bring up my boy, but CM Punk went through the same type of thing. And it's a call out because how many ideologies CM Punk had to be before he became the best in the world. How many evolutions, like Triple H went through it. Like, wasn't he like Pretty Hearst Hemsley or something like that before he was? Yeah, he was the cerebral assassin. He was the cerebral assassin, Triple H, the King of Kings. Like they all go through this transition, but I really think Beast Slayer and Monday Night Messiah is what merged together is Seth freaking Rollins. Like someone who's like, this is me. Now I don't care about the politics or how I get there or what I get there. I'm gonna get there, and that's why you have him as your first, WWE champion, because it's like, who else but him?
Yeah.
So for me, you guys make valid points. I'm gonna make a case for the architect, Seth Rollins, with the Authority, and here's why. Because if people watch Seth Rollins work now and in the last couple of years, Beast Slayer, King Slayer, you see one version of Seth. But if you go back to Authority, I didn't sell out. I bought in Seth Rollins.
That was
Pre-knee injury, in ring was a different Seth Rollins. He was flying in that ring. He was able to do a lot of shit to where you see people talk about Kenny Omega being the best in the world. You see people talking about Will Ospreay being best in the world. You see people talking about Kazuchika Okada, who may actually be debuting on AEW tonight, best in the world. There was a time where Seth was putting on banger matches, but his work rate and his skill set and the way that he flies in that ring, I think back specifically to give like an example, you have two examples. You have Seth Rollins, John Cena at SummerSlam, and you have a triple threat at Royal Rumble. Seth Rollins, John Cena, Brock Lesnar, and you just watch Seth Rollins work. And the fact that he's just flying all over the place is just like, bro, how the fuck are you able to do this and make it look so easy? There's a reason why the people call him CrossFit Jesus, to where you can actually mention him with those people and be like, he should be in consideration for best of the world. We haven't heard that since, because of the fact that he dumbed it down a little bit, because obviously, like, I want to wrestle till I'm a certain age. I keep up at this rate, I'm going to blow out my knees.
Yeah.
But pre-knee injuries, there is a big difference where you watch him working that ring and you're just like, wow, what the fuck? Because you move around like a cruiserweight, but you're built like a heavyweight.
And you could see how his body like kind of developed. And I think a lot about Seth Rollins too, because when my godbrother wanted to wrestle and he was like tiny, and I was just like, you know, I'm sorry, I had that whole thing of just like, you know, are you like big enough to be a wrestler? So I was like, okay, well, give me, you know, whose body, compare yourself to who you could be like build up to. And he was like, Seth Rollins. And I was like, that's perfect, because Seth isn't like as built as he isn't like Triple H big. Like he's not you know, Brock, even Roman Reigns big. So he's still able to be agile, you know, CrossFit Jesus. Like he, like every second of the day, I feel like Seth Rollins is working on being the best wrestler that he could be, literally. Like he has a wrestling school, he lives and breathes it, he never gives up, to the point where like his back is like hanging on, like it's like sewn together by like thread at this point, because he's just like, I'm gonna be in the ring like no matter what.
And that's why I like the promo with him and Michael Cole, where he literally acts like, literally does not take a day off. Like him and Michael Cole, to me, sit in the same boat. Like there's barely been times where he sat his ass down. Like you gotta appreciate, sometimes you do need to, there's gonna be talent that's like, if I miss this moment, and we hear it when Bianca Belair says, literally, if you're not on TV, you're not seen. A lot of wrestlers have said the same thing. Like, if you're not on WrestleMania, like you're not important, they're gonna move on to the next. But I've never thought of anybody. When it comes to Seth Rollins, there is no like next. There's always who's gonna work with him next, if that makes any sense.
Right.
And I think that's what makes him, you know, the fact that he can go at any style. That's the reason why I would make the argument of him being the best in the world over any other company, being the number one guy in the number one promotion, being the number one workhorse, right? And you look at it, because I would put him in a match, or I would want to see him in a match, I should say, with anybody out there. And the thing is, the reason why I love this character so much is because it works as a heel or a face or a tweener. And he do it so well. He can sit up there and go crazy and connect with little children. He can be the coolest person in the room, and he can be a heartthrob. He's literally a jack of all trades, a 5-2 player.
No, he really is. And I think that explains his longevity. Like you almost forget how long he's been around, just because, like I said before, he's been performing at such a high level consistently for so long, that you're like, oh wow, like 2011, like these are when you were watching his matches. Like it's 2024, and you guys are saying now he is at the best that he can be, you know, so many years later. Like I mentioned before, in fan club, I always kind of gauge how popular a wrestler is by like how my dad feels about them, because all my dad does is watch the weekly shows. He doesn't have social media. He doesn't care about dirt sheets and all that shit. He literally is just
the best fan.
Gets what's on TV. So he texted me one night because Seth Rollins had a gauntlet match. And he was the first one, and he ended up winning and wrestled for like over an hour. and he texted me like, yo, like Seth, like he's really good, like he's really like he really did that, like, and still looked like he could go for another hour. And I was like, okay, that's when you know, like, okay, he's connecting with the crowd and people are recognizing that he is really, really good in the ring and jack of all trades, good on the mic. I think you have to be good on the mic to be able to be a good face or a good heel. Like, you have to know how to sway your character in a certain way. Like, Becky's also really good at that. Like, she can, you know, like, go in either lane. Like, if it's after a big match, like, if she needs to be the heel in the situation, she knows what to say. If she needs to be the face in the situation, she knows what to say. And now she's at a certain point where we just love and respect her so much. You know, we with you, girl, like whatever you saying. And I think Seth is at that point where we're gonna be invested no matter what, and that's hard to do. And he does it.
You bring up a good point. It is hard to do. Like, even like, and I don't want to exaggerate this too much. I feel like he's almost turned himself into a prototype almost, because you, with the new era of wrestling, you do need prototypes. Like we just said, we just watched Sting put on his last hurrah. But there's gonna be someone who's going to inspire. Like, everybody had a different Sting they love. Like, I talk about how I ain't really know WCW Sting, so my Sting exposure was watching TNA Sting, like him being the Joker, him, you know, being the part of the main event Mafia and all that. So that was my first exposure to him. And then, but you have to think about how many wrestlers you're gonna be like, yo, I remember my first real exposure to this person was, and you're gonna have that moment with Seth Rollins. Like I said, I knew of him before, so it was a little different for me. But like, if we're talking about Seth Rollins, my like, in my head, like, my favorite Seth Rollins would definitely be like the Authority, because it was just like, he took that Money in the Bank, he went for self, like you say, he didn't buy in, he didn't sell out, he bought in. And it was just like, now you're seeing the person that nobody was really paying attention to kind of be like, look at me, you better pay attention to me. So that's always going to stick out. And I just feel like that's like the prototype, because no matter how many stages of Seth you gonna get, everybody has their favorite. Like, there's some people that talk about they miss Monday Night Messiah, even though I thought during the pandemic, I'm like, we're really gonna do this during the pandemic. Like, he's going to tell Buddy what to do 24/7, 365, and make it as uncomfortable as possible during the pandemic.
So
like, they live together. Like, him,
he
Twister, and Rey Mysterio.
all the way into that cult leader type. Yeah. Like, he leaned in, he would like greet their fans like this, like act like he was.
Remember
like,
Fat Rollins, where he was just like fat for like 2 weeks and just like looking dejected on the apron.
So is that, and people that are gonna come up look up to that. Like, I gave a perfect example. Like, I didn't expect him to ever come back to NXT TV. He didn't do it a lot, but him coming back to have that match at Gold Rush with Braun Breaker, I was like, damn, you got the new like prototype versus a future prototype. Yep. That match, 10 out of 10 for me. And even like him running the storyline and giving like Carmelo, I always appreciate him because him and Carmelo Hayes kind of grew the same path. We're noticed the same way. Him giving him his flowers and saying, I see you. That too is, to me, that's that. If you want a locker room leader, like leader behavior, Seth Rollins that's perfect example.
I can see him being that.
You can tell this is what he wanted to do. You know what I mean? And you sit back, like, I know we'll probably get into like rivalries. That's why I'm like disappointed. I mean, you know, a little bit. I was disappointed that we couldn't get him in Punk, because
there's still time.
Whether it's real or not, it's so believable, and that's how good Rollins is.
Yes,
you know,
because they're the same person.
I've seen so much wrestling, right? But there, you know, I had the times where I wanted to know everything. I want to know if it was real. I wanted the spoilers. I don't want to know. And he's doing a great job from day one. But then you throw in Drew McIntyre. And, you know, when you talk about like a time where you need to pivot, you either have times where you don't get Stone Cold rocking Triple H because Austin gets hurt, and you get Big Show and it's a dud, or you're supposed to get Mustafa Ali and you get Kofi Mania instead. And that's what this is. You know, we couldn't get Punk Rollins, but we get McIntyre Rollins. And he's just so good at like all of this and everything he's saying about The Rock. And that's the reason why like it's so much fun to just go in kayfabe mode and boo him and Cody Rhodes around this time, because they trying to disrupt the greatest thing that I've ever seen in wrestling history. But it's just amazing to watch, like I said, him on the microphone, him connecting with the crowd.
Yeah.
You talk about matches that we haven't gotten. I'm looking in the chat where people are talking about Rollins and Undertaker and why we never got that. Well, part of the reason we never got that is if you think back to like WrestleMania 30, like Undertaker was winding down. Like we get that banger at 29 against Punk. No one remembers WrestleMania 30 match, even though he gets concussed in that. No one really goes back and talks about Undertaker Bray at 31. No one really talks about Undertaker Shane 32. 33, we try to forget that main event because that was just like, bro, retire.
Wait, why? Okay.
Because remember, they main evented, that was like 30 minutes, and you could tell Undertaker was like
lagging,
really struggling.
Lagging.
And then
like dead Wi-Fi.
Yeah. And then at least for 34, we got the sprint of him and John Cena, and I got the 5 minutes that we got. And I'm thankful for that. But at that time where Undertaker is really winding down, you also had Seth that was ascending, but also had the knee injuries. You had the knee injury at 32. He almost missed 33 with the knee injury. And from 34 on, he kind of had to rebuild that trust with Mr. Redacted to be like, why should I put you in these top programs? Come WrestleMania season, you keep having these fucking knee injuries. Like, prove, like, kind of like what Cody had to do this year, even though it pissed off a lot of the Cody fan base, prove that you can stay healthy. Why should we put the top title on you when you just had your broken titty and you were gone for 6 months? What happens if we give you this title and that happens again? Prove you can stay healthy. And Seth kind of had to do that. So,
broken titty.
I had to sneak that one in there. So by the time Seth was good to go and we could finally have that match was around like WrestleMania 35-ish on. Taker was kind of like on his last legs, and it's like he needed the surgery. Yeah, it's like he needed to retire and he needed surgery badly because you could tell like Undertaker was just debilitated at that point. And that's why we never got it, because it's like one person's ascending and the other person's like, bro, just hang it up flat screen. I
never looked at it like that. I never looked at it like you just pointed it out. I never viewed it that way. I just viewed it as like they always try and make Undertaker kind of like it used to be this what made your career to be in a match with the Undertaker, but I think it lost its spark after Punk. And I say that because with Lesnar, I was just like, okay, like this is just going to be like, they're going to do this because this is edge of your seat, bite your nails off, who can really win this? And then when they broke the streak, it was like, oh shit, they just threw us for a curveball. Like you expected for the worst person to ever batter up to bat up, and you thought they were going to hit all strikes, and they fucking swing and they hit a home run. That's how that felt. So when it came to people who were actually going to be able to work and be and possibly outwork and make Taker look good, even though we got him and Shawn Michaels and Triple H so many damn times, Punk was one of the last to make Undertaker look like he could still go. And imagine if it had been Seth Rollins instead.
Right. Oh my God. Those would have been some really good matches if he would have been able to wrestle Undertaker in his prime.
Right, but it's like Justin said, like he was winding down, so it probably would have been at a big disadvantage to us who were like looking for something fresh and something new, and Seth Rollins was like in the heat of that fresh and that new. So,
did we ever get them like in a tag match, like maybe somebody like Undertaker and X insert person versus the Shield? I know we got Ambrose versus Taker.
I can see that, especially during their hill run, maybe.
Probably,
yeah.
I could see that. And then,
but I mean, like, you know, Undertaker was always about the aura anyway. It's not like he was a walking 5-star match, if we want to be honest. You know,
chill.
Yeah, but there was a time where Undertaker matches were like arguably one of the best matches on a Mania card.
Aura. Because of Shawn Michaels.
He had the chance to go in the ring, I feel like he was exciting.
Well, okay.
Fucking American Undertaker.
American Badass.
MAGA
There you
taker.
go. Literally.
Yo, we was talking about that earlier.
I want Carmelo to take a nice long
y'all went to
shower
see,
after being
TikTok
touched by that man. I can't deal.
Wait, what?
I said I hope Carmelo took a nice scrubbed shower after being. I mean, it was a cool moment for him, but I was just like, I forgot who you like fuck with. So
You know what?
That
Him and Snoop Dogg had a conversation, and I enjoyed the conversation. It was like, let's just
Snoop Dogg is Jesus. So anything you have a conversation with Snoop Dogg, he's like weed Jesus. I'm sorry, there's no way you can have a talk with Snoop Dogg and not feel nothing. Yes,
smoke on the holy blunt.
Sorry, CBD Jesus. How about that?
But
turn water into wine and crip walk with me.
He's
like the same guy who walked backstage.
How ignorant he was with the video games.
Yeah, like
the dumbest fucking shit ever. It's like that.
But you know what? But you know what? It's a thank you, because after he did that, that's when Xavier Woods got his little contract with G4. So thank you for thinking that that's it.
And I'm sure that quote was taken out of context, but like you said, Xavier got the bag.
It just showed like how out of touch Taker was. It's like, bro, you do know people make a big amounts of fucking money as a living playing video games.
Well,
like, you're gonna shit all over that.
It wasn't that.
It wasn't that.
It was more. I think more just to speak to how healthy it is backstage. I think that was the whole point. Where it was like he's used to like that cutthroat. Everyone
he's used to anarchy, chaos, drugs, and what is it, wrestler court.
Yeah,
it's like, what the fuck? You guys are peaceful? I don't know peace. I want problems.
Listen, The Undertaker was on a plane ride from hell. Anything that's different from what he experienced, I will listen. I'll have to understand his point of view. The man was on the plane ride from hell.
But you gotta remember, the Taker came up in Andre's locker room.
Right.
At the end of it. Which is so cool. Like, if y'all saw Dark Side of the Ring,
he's seen a lot.
John Tenta yesterday. But just to see like the guys who were there, like who when he was their young boys, to the Jimmy Snookers, the Andre the Giants, the Hogans, the Savages. It's like Undertaker's he was like 24. You know, he's really was the youngest WWE champion, but because the dead man, they couldn't say that.
Right.
You know,
he don't have an age.
Yeah. But you know, it would have been interesting to see him and Rollins go at it, especially even if they didn't have a match. Just to see the aura, or even the Monday Night Messiah versus the dead man, because the mind games, we saw the mind games he played with AJ Styles.
Right.
So imagine, like, Seth Rollins will blow AJ Styles out of the water as far as sports entertainment. So just imagine how that would have been. And there's no disrespect to AJ Styles. It's just Seth Rollins.
I know what you mean.
Totally different universe.
Oh, 1,000%. And even just seeing how he can be one WrestleMania, he's in a match with Logan Paul. And you think like, oh my God, Seth Rollins is so much better than that. But it's like only Seth Rollins could have made that feel like a WrestleMania match. Then you go from that to now he's gonna probably be in a main event as champion. It's the fact that he's able to do that just speaks volumes about him. I want to give everyone in the chat time to think about who they feel are Seth Rollins' best ring. Dance partner. There you go. Best rivalry. Who is his wrestling soulmate? But I do want to just say, while I give everyone, all of our VIP in the club, a chance to do that, and you guys too, what I've appreciated about Seth Rollins over the years, especially in the age of social media, is he is a fucking company guy. But it's not in like corny kiss ass, in my opinion, the corny kiss ass way. It's more in the fact that like, I love professional wrestling. I want to be the best professional wrestler. I'm going to be in the on the A team. Like I'm going to be, I want to be the best professional wrestler, and I work at the best professional wrestling company. So you can't come for me. Like, I don't care what y'all say. Like, I am the guy at the place, like, period. I've always appreciated that about him, because he could easily go into, and I don't know. I like his presence on the socials. I think he does just enough, and he doesn't talk shit about where he worked. Like, he's very proud to be a WWE superstar, and I appreciate that.
I like how he comes for people who talk shit about WWE. Like, for him to get into a Twitter engagement with Conor McGregor, I was like, boy, if you don't, I said, you know what? I said, no, not even that you had to get knocked out. I was like, if they don't give you a match at WrestleMania, I'm gonna get mad, because you sitting there telling Conor McGregor to basically take your ass back to Ireland, eat potatoes over the fact that he said that those guys can't last in the MMA ring. And then, like, I think about the fact that literally, even like the press conference, you were just fighting with, and as Justin will call him, Broken Titty Boy, you were just fighting with him last year. So for you to jump up and tell Roman and The Rock it ain't right because you are a boss of the company, for you to be acting like that, I'm like, yo, that's something that a company guy would say. 1000%.
I love it too, because at the end of the day, right, Seth Rollins grew up watching people in WWF.
Yeah.
He wanted to be like Shawn Michaels, Bret Hart, etc. So I love comparing like wrestling to sports, because you don't see Shohei Ohtani left Japan to come play in the MLB.
Mm-hmm.
Mike Trout didn't go to Japan to play with Shohei Ohtani. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So people can say all that, and that's why I like his mindset. And the Usos. No, you want to be the best, you come to me. You come over here if you can make it. That's
and even I
and
think
that's
Omega,
my shade.
man.
That's like, if you good, you gonna I'm gonna see you here. If you not, goodbye.
Like, and then I see a lot of people in the comments are already saying him and Ilya will cook, like, yo, like, and it back to the prototype conversation. First time inaugural Grand Slam champion for SCW and NXT. Like, come on. Like, who wouldn't want to model something like that? Like, I agree that him and Ilya would go to the dance. They would slaughter. It would be like it would be like the two Vikings going to the final battle. I truly believe that.
Mm-hmm.
But the comments, for sure, I think that Dean Ambrose was at the time, even though he's not there anymore. But I also think KO. I think KO is his best dance partner.
I would love to see KO and Rollins have another feud.
Mm-hmm.
For sure. But I think KO could use a Seth Rollins. Like, it's one of those, I don't need to face you, you need to face me.
Mm-hmm.
But I love Cody, like Keith said. I think that's your feud for the ages. That's your Bret Shawn. That's your Austin Rock. That's your Cena Orton. That's your Rock and Roman and Brock. It's Seth and Cody. When you look at it, the bangers they put on when they first got there.
Mm-hmm.
That's the reason why I hope Seth Rollins stabs Cody in the back in 31 days.
You think he gonna do all this and Cody gonna turn around and say "E2 Brute"? You think that's what's gonna happen? I don't know.
Seth gonna take off his pump and beat him with it.
Imagine if Seth loses the title.
He gonna take off his Ferragamo customs and beat his ass.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my god!
How dare you now challenge me for my title? Fuck you and your story.
Well, if I don't win, you don't win either. Bloodline rules.
It can happen.
That's a good. But when you think about it, like really think about it, how many people has Cody walked up to them and actually said, "Listen, I think it's worth for us to have a match"? When you think about Seth Rollins' career, it's always been people gunning for Seth. But in that moment, and this is company guy shit, he's literally in the storyline like, listen, I think you deserve it. Let's us go for it. So that's interesting to me, because while that's like some admiral shit, I would be looking at you sideways like, why you do that? You don't think he got the chops to be going up against Roman Reigns? Why you trying to take him away from his story? Be looking at you like this. Mm-hmm.
That's suspicious.
A lot of people looking at Carmelo the same way.
We may be cool, but Roman's my brother.
Thank you. He said my little brother Seth Rollins walks like this.
Nah, he came for him that night. Like,
He tried to snatch that boy bald. Try to snatch him bald.
You hit your brothers the hardest.
Dude, it's like fun almost. Speaking of brothers, do we agree with this being a good feud?
It was fun.
That was a good one.
It was a bad timing, but
That's
if it was
exactly what I feel like
it was, you know, because it was just like it was not. I don't want to say cartoony, but I think now, man, I think I'm gonna go back and look at some of those matches because you knew like even when they first started, when the Shield first broke up, it was fun to watch, and then when they ran it back, but I think now just the maturity and like I would like to see a John Moxley and Seth Rollins. You know, that's why I wish you could cross forbidden doors, brother.
It hits different now because I think back then it was Dean helped put over Seth in his title reign. Even though Dean was hot and this was still on the heels of the Shield breaking up and stuff like that. But like Brian put it perfect, like you take this version of Seth plus the maturity in this version of Moxley who wants to do death matches nonstop, which is going to force Seth into deep waters and put him in his like non-comfort zone. I'm with it.
Hold on real quick. Speaking of death matches, man, I actually got to admit, Brian Cage and Hook are cooking. If y'all watching,
I like that they're putting Hook. I'm watching it. I like they're putting Hook back on TV because I'm like, why was he not on TV before? But I think they saw him watch Samoa Joe get like kind of beat that boy halfway in half. So now they're like, all right, we got to put him back on because you know, ain't no way. The people like him.
And I don't like Wolverine Brian Cook, but you know, he's just not for me. I like what he used to be. Yeah. But this version, you know, just like Warlow. Warlow fell off for me, but you know, they have a place, but you know.
I hear you.
That's true. That's true.
It's one of those AEW has too many people and you can't push all of them at once. It's like someone's got to go up to the top and someone's got to play jobber.
That's why I need Omega over in the E because I want to see him in Seth Rollins.
Oh my god!
Now, like, when you talk about dream matches,
that would sell out an arena because of the simple fact that it would appeal to WWE fans, but also the real wrestling fans would just come through.
And that's the dream match I prefer. I know some people have said Seth and Ospreay. But with Kenny, I think you'll still get the spot fest. But with Kenny, there's going to be layered stories. And I think that's the difference between a Kenny Omega match versus an Ospreay match. Where it's like, there's going to be levels to storytelling in the ring. And I know Seth will be able to keep up with Kenny. And then even with Kenny, with all his injuries, Seth will be able to help guide him through that as well. So it's like, that's the one I want to see.
That's the thing about Seth Rollins, though. He's like, you can place him, his style, you can place him in any era, right? I mean, if you know, and shout out to WWE 2K that just came out because you could place him versus Macho Man. Imagine the matches they would have had him and Ricky the Dragon, Steamboat. Hell, you could place him in Punk Ass Honky Tonk Man, you know, and Seth Rollins would have got a good match out of him. Or well, you know, I mean, he's good at his gimmick. But you know, just even imagine
Seth
like
and Piper.
Oh man, what? Because they would literally they would trade so many jabs, and that's Seth Rollins' ability to adjust. But like you know, and then even like him and DDP, you know, it's just so many.
That would cook. The kitchen would be on fire.
The roof would be on fire. Nah, I agree.
We don't need no water. Put them motherfuckers in the ring.
And even like that, like you know who would be like his perfect? Oh my god! Stop it! You know what I'm thinking about? I'm thinking about I'm going to add to her. I'm thinking about him, Billy Kidman. I'm thinking about him, Billy Kidman. I'm thinking of when he fought D. Brian Kendrick. Like nobody remembers that match, but that was like one of the A+ match to watch. Him and the Brian Kendrick like that. Like oh my god, Snooker.
Ooh. Honestly, everyone, all legends, like line them up.
Here we are talking about here workforce, and we give him more work to do. We ain't no better. We just ain't right.
Welcome that, welcome that for sure. I'm loving these dream matches because, like, he can really put on a good match with anyone.
Now I can't get him and Ospreay out of my head.
It
Because
can
the internet's
happen.
been
It
talking
can
about that
happen.
one for a
You never
while.
know.
That's why.
That's true. And
Him
you
and
also
Action
gotta,
and him and freaking Dante Martin or any of the guys from like it should not see like my head's expanding, my head's getting
Yeah,
big.
you can
Let
have
me
them.
shut it down. Yeah. Shut me down. Next. Shut me down. Kick me out the
wait,
club.
We up here talking about dream matches. You talking about nightmares.
what is the tea?
Nothing.
That's an after TWG
Get her
after
ass at
dark
the club.
moment. You
No,
know,
I
just
was
kick
just talking
me
about
out.
they just mid. I mean, not mid. They just, they got to get on Rollins level. I'm but oh my gosh. Yo, Marcus, you gotta stop, yo.
I know. You got like
Marcus said I'm lighting the kitchen on fire.
oh, for real, like
Oh gosh.
He
Why
said
do
he's
I
setting the
want
kitchen on fire.
Perk version of Kurt Angle versus Seth?
No,
Unhinged
no.
versus unfucking
Y'all leave
sober.
Kurt in the past, please, Lord of mercy.
it goes to show like his talent too, because I think about if let's say there was like an exchange program with other promotions, you would send Seth Rollins because he's just all around, like he just gets it.
Him and Josh Alexander will cook too. I'm sorry if we're going Forbidden Door route. Like him and Josh Alexander will probably be a great exhibition. You know how I feel about exhibition.
You know what I think? Like you talk about the Forbidden Door, right? And P, you talk about him representing. Let me take y'all back. Take me back to the episode Dark Side of the Ring. Collisions in Korea. And he would have been the guy to go against Antonio Inoki. Because
I can see that.
Yeah, he's a better wrestler than Ric Flair. So
Clock it.
Huh?
Clocked it.
Yeah, like and it's no disrespect to Flair. We all know, but Flair, the aura and everything, the full package made him the greatest of all time in so many people's eyes. But that's the type of dedication that Seth Rollins has. Is that Flair type dedication? It's like, okay, cool. Roman don't want to go. Send me over there. I got it. I can adjust on the fly. That's why I was like, okay, I'm so happy that he is involved in this story. Because he did enough talking during that presser that he deserves to be in headline for the WrestleMania. To be a prominent part that everybody's going to be talking about. He deserves to be in the ring with The Rock. Let's be real.
He does, and he's proven it. And to see him get to this point, and I was one who wanted him to lose the championship, but now I'm so happy that he's walking into WrestleMania as champion, and he's involved in like the biggest story that everybody is talking about, which I think is always sort of the case. He does a lot of the mainstream appearances. Like he did the sneaker shopping on Complex. Him and Becky just did the Hot Ones versus. He's very good at being that front facing person as well when he needs to. If he needs to put on a suit. Remember they used to do those like kind of panels, like those NXT panels.
Yeah.
And Seth Rollins was always there because he's able to say, like, this is what I've always wanted to do. I was on the indies for a while. I worked hard. I did this. I did, like, he can speak to what it
understand
really
the grind.
To really become and grow into a WWE superstar. And now he's the champion.
He understands the grind, and that's why, like I said earlier, like he looks at the people. I feel like he looks at the people in NXT now who have come up, who understand, like who went through what he went through, kind of. And I say he's able to boost them. Like I said, like everybody would think that okay, Braun Breaker is the face right now that runs the place, kind of, and so was Seth Rollins at one point for him to have that match. But did he really have to do that? No, not really. Like he really didn't have to do that. Like even him having that brief interaction with Carmelo Hayes, same thing, did not have to do that because there's still a trail of wrestlers who everybody's starting to itch their way back down to NXT, but people don't realize that wasn't the first time that Seth Rollins went back to NXT. Like he frequently is down there. Like enough for him to open up a school, go back home, open a school in Iowa. For the people like Scarlett Bordeaux, who's one of his students. To learn, people that were once in his school getting contracts. Some of them are in AEW right now. Like it's not just a company guy. This is somebody who loves the business. People might not get like the whole thing with like
And a coffee shop.
Yes. You gotta
Over
go
the
there.
coffee shop.
I would go to Iowa just to go to that coffee shop.
Yo, Iowa ain't a bad, but Iowa is starting to kind of pop off a little. It's certain towns that are friendly, that are really good places to be. So I went my cute little trip, but this is somebody who's evolved because they're like, listen, wrestling's my life. Like people would like crack on Jim Cornette when he was just like the Dark Side of Ring episode when they said the reason he hates Vince is because Vince hates wrestling, and he was like wrestling, like you hate just because of wrestling. Wrestling's my entire life, and Seth Rollins is saying that without even saying it. Like met his like. Given like if anybody heard the Teresa Giudice meme when she's like, I got married on the show, I gave birth on the show, I went to jail on the show. Like Seth Rollins is like, listen, I met my wife in this business, I had a baby in this business, I won belts in this business, I teach in this business, I make coffee in this business, I broke my back working carrying you hoes in this business. So he's allowed. He's fully allowed to say all these things because, like, sorry, he's ITGIRL. He's that girl without being a girl. He's just that guy. He's the it
guy. He really is, and that's even funnier when you like think about some of the shit he be wearing.
And you guys put it perfect. It's like when Roman wasn't there, who was the guy? Seth Rollins. Because Cody, while Cody's been over like Rover and Cody's barely lost, Cody has not been competing for fucking titles. Seth had a new title and had to put that shit over. And do this when Roman was doing unlimited PTO, and people fucking forget that part where
you see them 2K clips. He was running spears into the camera. He was working.
I mean, I saw that, but at the same time, it's like I don't think people are really giving Seth his flowers. Where it's like, you know, Roman and Rock and Cody, and then Steph's kind of the forgotten one. Where it's like, bitch, I've been doing this shit 9 months hard. Where the fuck were all of you? You were in a board meeting. You weren't competing for titles. I don't know where the fuck you were. You were traveling somewhere else, and I was here.
Exactly why he needs to.
I was here.
The hell out of Cody.
Yeah, he really.
Listen,
he
really give me my fucking flowers while I wear my corsage. How about that?
like peasants. Where's my crown? Don me.
Yeah, we talking about dream matches.
Like literally, he need to be pulling an Ariana Grace. He needed to put Ariana Grace and literally be like, "Kiss my hand." Like it's for real. Like
Ariana Grace
got one champion that's off
yesterday.
She's gonna what?
She was like, she's not wrestling. Remember?
I love it.
Oh yeah, because she's.
Oh my god!
Like, I'm not wrestling. She's like, it's good.
Seindole said, "Kiss their hand." Why did it immediately come to mind was when fucking what was it? Bobby Lashley was bending over and smacking his cheeks, telling the crowd to kiss.
Oh my god! Don't talk about
like that's what Seth should do.
That Bobby Lashley era goes in the box.
Like, it goes in the. I gotta get a generic box like box.
We gotta, and they gotta have a sound of like closing.
You gotta have
so like.
Stop. See, wait till now I'm on the Krista and Pablo Don train. Wait till this run is done. Wait till we see you in Philly, bro.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Rat for you.
Right. So do we have a favorite Seth Rollins match and why?
I said mine, so I'll go. Ooh.
I'm sorry, what?
The one we was WrestleMania 38.
Oh, the Seth and Cody.
That's one of like it's the moment. It's the
lace.
Coming. Yeah, I was gonna say. I was gonna go.
Seth Rollins lace.
The moment the music hit, because you know he had to follow Bianca and Becky, who had just put on an emotional match, right? You didn't have time to like come down because when Rollins' music hit, it was the moment. It was like, okay, we about to find out who's it gonna be, and the way they dragged and dragged and dragged, and then finally, wrestling has more than one royal family.
That pop was insane.
And you know,
I felt that shit to the core.
Mm-hmm. And the music, like and it was before everybody knew to do the whoa. And But then the match delivered. Then the trash talking. Welcome back to the big leagues, bitch. Like,
yes, he's so good at that.
Hold on. Christian just ran from Edge. He like ran through the back into looked like a Beamer.
So funny. Oh my god.
Escalade.
I'm gonna take y'all back.
Take it back.
Go look up sudden death overtime FCW for the FCW 15 championship between him and Dean Ambrose. Everybody talks about how I put Dean Ambrose on the back. No, bitch. That's how I was like, Seth is that guy. Like I said, he's that ITGRL. He's that ITGUY. Period. Because it was meant to be. It like went into such overtime because at first they didn't get a fall. Then Dean had one. Then Seth had one. It was a back and forth, and they had to go into a sudden time death overtime. I'm telling you, I was like, if they don't make this man like, and that's when they finally found out that they were shutting down FCW and making it NXT. I was like, if they don't make this man a champion in that new brand or anywhere in WWE, I want my money back. I want you to put it back in my account. Because what? Like, and mind you, I'm not somebody who's familiar with Dean Ambrose when he was doing John Moxley. So it was like, okay, this guy's just like, he was the crazy guy down there. And they were still trying to build character. And it wasn't ran like character-wise. They were slowly trying to do backstage promos and stuff because, you know, it became Dusty's like home. So Dusty was incorporating that. And you can see that Seth Rollins was trying, but he wasn't like fully there yet. So all he could rely on was telling, but man, like when JR was there, he would have said, this is a slobber knocker. So do you say that one's favorite to me? And like I said, the cash in sticks into me like a hole in the head because like that's like I said, pick up the phone and call and be like, yo, did you see this shit? Like even if you watching like you in the front living room watching with a friend and you like,
yeah, for sure.
So for me, I love the Royal Rumble triple threat. Yeah. But I think if there was one Seth Rollins match, it has to be the Cena at SummerSlam because that was a king-making performance. Like that made Seth Rollins the guy.
Yeah, that's a good one.
And it was also a time where we didn't know who was going to win because that was title for title. And remember, Cena was still trying to chase Rick. So it really was like, oh shit, is Seth really about to lose? Is Cena gonna be double champion?
Jon Stewart said nope.
Wow.
He said, never mind.
I'm okay with that finish. I hate how they fucking explained it on Raw the next night, where it's like, really, dude? Someone punch him in his throat.
I like the gear though. He had the white gear, the white Ranger.
Yeah, man. Really CrossFit Jesus to the T.
Yo, he always paid attention to his gear and what he was wearing. Like now that I think about it, like he always brought it out for Mania, even before he had a stylist. Like everybody looked forward to what gear Seth Rollins was gonna wear on the pay-per-view.
Yeah. Yo, him coming out in dusty polka dots. During Hell in a Cell. I was like, all right, you caught me in my eye. Like I'm sorry, Brian, you can't lie. That was genius. I'm sorry. Because it was right at the time of the documentary and Cody saying that like, and like he said he was one of Dusty's kids, but I'm actually Dusty's kid. And then you go into Hell in a Cell and man's really walked out in fucking yellow and black polka dots. I was like, you just a disrespectful son of a gun.
But he did the same way. He dressed up like the Shield when he was against Roman, playing all of them. And he showed up in that vest. I screamed, and that I think one of the moments where I was like, "Nah, this is my guy right here." Like he knows.
It's the only time you've seen Roman flustered during this whole Tribal Chief era. Seth took him out of his comfort zone and was like, "Fuck it, I'm gonna fuck with you the entire time, beginning, middle, and even to this day." WWE, Seth Rollins is still owed a title shot because Roman got his ass DQ'd in that match, so Seth won that. Title shot. We ain't forget. Streets ain't forgetting that.
Y'all wanted good. He finished the story. It should have been Rollins and Roman. I'm just saying.
I really don't. I was trying to stay away from Shield talk, but I really enjoyed their feud with the Wyatt family. I really enjoyed that feud. Like the Elimination Chamber. I wasn't a big Elimination Chamber girl, but it was like really good Elimination Chamber match. Like I really enjoyed it.
And I'll add another one that's a personal favorite to me. I don't know if that's gonna go in like top 10 Seth Rollins matches, but I'm glad A, we got the match, and B, I was there. Shield triple threat at Battleground in DC.
Ooh, yes.
What year was that?
That was 2016. That was when Dean was champion. Roman just came back off suspension, and Rollins was like, they positioned Rollins to be the guy on Raw. This was right before the brand.
He was authority, right?
He was the authority's person. So this is when they had the draft and they brought back the brand split. And Battleground was the last pay-per-view before it went into effect. So obviously they were like, we need you, like Seth and I'm not Seth, Stephanie and I think Foley, who were the Raw GMs, were like, we need you to win this title and bring it back to Raw because otherwise we're not gonna have a fucking title. Like we don't fuck with Roman, and Roman was gone at that time with suspension. So it was like, Seth, you got to be that guy and bring that title back. So main event was Shield triple threat. I was like, thank you, God, because now I get that in person.
They held the whole locker room, SmackDown locker room came out and held Ambrose up in the air.
Yeah, it's one of the rare times where they really gave Dean Ambrose his moment in WWE.
And he flopped.
He didn't flop. The problem was AJ was so supremely over, and then they were on the same show that was like, we like Dean as champion, but AJ's just on this historical 2016 run. It's like, bro, we love you, but we gotta get this title off of you because AJ's like fucking gone nuclear.
I give you credit. You like them. I remember a lot of the conversation being, this is not working.
This is not it.
Yeah. It was the moment when he won because the Shield had the title in one night, because that was the time when Seth beat Roman clean, which was like, oh shoot, he just beat him with a pedigree. And then all of a sudden Ambrose cashed in, but that's all I remember. Like the run.
Well, 2016 Ambrose was over like fuck. The problem was the WrestleMania match cooled him off because they went in with such high expectations. Him and Brock Lesnar, no holds barred match. We thought we were gonna get like something really, really good. And then Brock was just like, I'm not doing 90% of this shit. So it cooled him off a little bit, but then he was still over because the Money in the Bank cash in. Now he's finally champion. He's finally the last guy to be fucking champion. Now he's got it. He carries it. He actually holds tall in the Shield triple threat. And then him and AJ go on to have a great feud on SmackDown for that fall going into the winter. That TLC match is really fucking good.
I'm glad you brought that up. And just real quick, you know, we talk about like Shannon Sharp and him not being a journalist and stuff, and he's an entertainer. Shout out to Stone Cold Steve Austin, because that was good journalism. Getting that out from Dean Ambrose.
Yeah, he don't talk to nobody about anything.
So
what happened?
So real quick,
tell me about this.
So real quick, my friend Alicia, she's saying, sorry, I'm watching you, but I can't log on to my Twitch for some reason. Maggate, LOL. Anyways, y'all having a Seth Rollins appreciation night. Remember when me and you had a conversation about why I could never get on Seth's side, but I believe him to be a good heel. Think about the fact that him and the Shield went up against the new Evolution, which was Batista and Randy Orton with Triple H on that first, and then the next day he turned on the Shield. That's why I can never fuck with him. Just mention it in your show. LOL, I love you.
Aww,
I was like, yo, when you think, and then I'm looking at it, I'm like, wait, what date was that? It was definitely the day after Payback.
The day after.
Wow.
Because I think Triple H have like the bruise from the match.
Always a plan B.
And he was smiling because what's his name was looking like they were looking so tough and popping mad shit. So that's when he was like, see, what y'all don't realize in me, there's always a plan B. And the chair strike happened. They had just beat Randy Orton and Batista. So she said she's the type of person that she's like, listen, she was like, this is the same person that's mad. She doesn't like Lawrence Fishburne. She don't like Blair Underwood for Medea Fair Reunion. So when she sees stuff like that, she's like, no, she's like, I don't care what you do. I still don't like you turning your brethren. So she just texted me that. She was like, I can't log in, but you have to mention that. So
my
love you, Lisa.
Breaking in Edge's house.
Oh, that was wild.
Crazy. That match that they had on SmackDown at MSG, was it Seth and Edge? Bro.
Yeah.
I gotta give, I said something before, the Edge didn't have their main bangers. Seth Rollins got some bangers out of him. I gotta give him credit.
Yes.
That's what Rollins does, you know.
Yeah, that's exactly
Even that,
what he
even
does.
his match, even him with his recent feud before he got into this feud, his feud with Shinsuke Nakamura, I think was the feud that we needed to be reignited into believing in Seth Rollins again, because after Cody after a while died, and then with the Judgment Day it was kind of like fight or flight, but with Shinsuke it was more of like a, yo, this is really somebody who can who might be able to get under his skin, and if he's not careful he could really lose his belt, because we can see that Shinsuke was getting into his head. So I think that was the match that definitely put faith back into Seth Rollins as somebody who definitely can do it all.
Yeah, I'm so there with you when it comes to that. And you could like go on and on and on about like memorable moments that Seth Rollins has had. All the curb stomps in the most wildest places, like from the most wildest, like I know, you know, we don't talk about him, but he was doing some fun stuff with Riddle too. Like just diabolical shit. Like
that man talked about his family.
Yo, he was like, Riddle, you still there? He's like, you still there? I'm gonna talk more shit to you, boy.
Still here.
Yes.
Where are you? Where are you, bro?
He's like, oh, that's right. He was like, because your wife left you, bitch ass.
Yo, the fact
where are you?
Like, not my bitch ass though. Like, damn.
Even you know, it makes me laugh because even Drew, he was like, what he say? He was like, bitch, and then Drew was like,
so you can have a title to fight.
And then Drew was like, bitch, Drew's this energy earlier. This is turning to Baddies East. I can't.
I'm
done.
It's like y'all tweeting back and forth like it's Jocelyn Hernandez and fucking Natalie Nunn. I love this shit.
Not. Oh no.
You know, that's what makes Seth Rollins is so good. Unfortunately, like if his only knock is that he's in the same era as Roman Reigns. You know,
yeah, because he would be number one.
Yeah, it's
numero uno.
Just like Macho Man Randy Savage.
I was gonna say, I think you brought that point up before, and
like Randy Orton,
appropriate.
You know, unfortunately, like that, and I think that's what makes like Austin and Rock different, because you can make an argument for either or, right?
Yeah.
And then with Charlotte and Becky, you can make an argument for either or. You know, you can't do that with Rollins and Roman or Randy and John. You know, it's like Carmelo and LeBron. You know what I mean? So, but if Roman wasn't in WWE right now, the company would still be in good hands. You know, it'd be millions, maybe not crossing in billions. It'd still be millions though.
But I think that makes the case for why it's more Austin and Rock than like Randy and Cena, because of the fact that we've seen over this last year, like Roman's been gone and WWE's still been fine. Now, granted, you also have Cody, and Cody's also over like Rover, but at the same time, like let's say Roman's gone for like an extended year, who would be that guy? Seth would be one of them. That's like immediately like boom. Doesn't matter what we do, we can put him anywhere. He'll be fine. People are gonna flock to it. People are gonna pay attention to it.
But see, Roman isn't gone though. Gone was 2018 and the 19. When he was out with leukemia. You know what I mean? Like his presence is still there. Like he's been there at least, you know, once every 6 weeks. It's just, you know, so like just the simple call Roman Reigns, he's still there. You know what I mean? Versus like when Macho Man, even then, like Hogan was still around for the big SummerSlam and WrestleMania. It just wasn't there, you know, on Superstars every week because he was filming or house shows.
That's true. I'm looking at some of Seth Rollins' greatest moments. Forgot about his U.S. title feud with Bobby Lashley, which was good.
We was there for that in Brooklyn when he beat him for it.
Definitely was.
Yeah, that was the DX night. Because he wasn't healed yet. That's the thing. He wasn't babyface yet.
Yeah.
But when he wins, he has.
What just happened, Brian? Okada's there. Wait,
wow.
What?
Can I say it?
Yeah, say it. Might as well.
Rainmaker.
That's crazy.
Arrived.
No wonder they got the brand new freaking set. That makes a whole lot of goddamn sense.
Justin called it earlier.
They said he gonna show up. We gonna bring out the Flashy. This is okay.
The suit though.
Yes. You see my face?
Taking the suit.
Sir.
Wait a minute.
Oh shit.
Oh,
you
shit.
son of a...
With the Timbs.
Oh
no!
Shit. Oh, how dare you?
Wow.
You just
how dare you?
You just ruined Brian's whole entire. Wow. What?
This is crazy.
Only on Warner Television, y'all. It's starting to feel like that other show. I'm starting to feel like that other promotion from back in the day. Every single time. With the surprises.
I'm about to.
Even though we get another surprise, but not a surprise next week.
I'm so glad we was here for the fan club.
Me too. That was huge. I just saw Brian H. on his face. I'm like, what happened?
Because I have it on the TV to see it, and then on the computer, but it's faster. And I was like,
he looks great. He really does.
Wow. Well, let's see what y'all got for us. New era.
Yeah, it really seems like it feels like
it's trying to
makes her debut next week.
Exactly.
Oh my goodness. I can't even think about it. I have so many mixed feelings about it. About Boss Town.
If I didn't have a 5K next weekend, I definitely would have flown my ass to Boston for that. Man. Even if she didn't show, I'd have been like, I'm there. I don't give a fuck.
Guess I'm fucking gonna be watching Dynamite. It does look really good. Like everything right now seems very much elevated in a lot of ways. Like
I like this though with Okada with the fucking Bucks.
My God. I mean, who else though? Like it makes a lot of sense. Like, because who else is he gonna? Because we're freaking Don Callis. No, thank you. We're done with that. We're done. Stop giving Don Callis everybody, please.
I mean, give me something to boo. Give me something to cheer. Let me be a fan. You know, I'm gonna hate it in kayfabe, but like it. You know.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. He looked young and clean, honey. Okay,
he looks good. He definitely looks good. That blonde.
They even gave him the
everything is hitting. Everything is hitting.
But at least not the EV, so it definitely looks like the EVPs are going to be involved with Eddie Kingston now.
Mm-hmm. I'm here for it.
I like it.
Different.
This is a good time to be a wrestling fan.
Because we knew he can put on good matches, but now I'm going to see a sports entertainment side. You know, we saw all the stuff him and Brian was doing, you know, but now give me sports entertainment.
Yep.
That's what sells, brother.
That is what sells. How did you guys feel about Seth and Becky working together?
Hated it. Hated it. It immediately cooled off Seth. It only helped Becky because Becky was still just over like Rover. Even though Becky, it still became a little indifferent, but it cooled off Seth tremendously. Like, bro, absolutely. Seth beat fucking Brock Lesnar for the title at WrestleMania, and then after that, we didn't give two fucks because WWE ran with the Seth and Becky. Why don't we make this like Dirty Dancing and like or Ghost where we just hype up the relationship and hype up the two of them, and it's like, yeah, but you immediately cooled off because then it became like, you're Becky's bitch kind of thing. To the point that Brock had to cash in, take the title off of you, run back that match on SummerSlam, and re-put it on you. Like that's how bad they did
It
Seth
was
Rollins during
so
that whole Becky
fucking
Lynch thing, where it's like
bad.
we gotta redo the WrestleMania shit, and Brock has to re-push you over because Mr. Redacted decided to fuck him up in like 3 months.
It was like, yeah, I hated it. I felt like it was so unnecessary. They didn't seem comfortable doing it. Like the
Mhm.
backstage interviews just looked so fucking cringy, and it just didn't work. It felt very forced. Like now, I feel like it will work a little bit better because they're both have a little bit more ownership on their characters, like they can make it work. But back then it felt like, oh, you guys are a couple. Oh, okay, let's put you guys together. And if y'all remember, it happened very quickly. It was like they were spotted at Hall of Fame. It was like, oh my God, are they together? They hard launched on Instagram, and literally like 2 weeks later, they were already in fucking storylines together. It was just like, what the fuck? Then this man put on a shirt that said the man's man. And then sold it. Like that was.
I get what they were trying. I get what they were trying to do.
It was like,
but
we get it. Becky's over. I get it.
I get it, but at the same time, I was just like, well, my 2 reasons is that, listen, I respect Becky, love Becky, can never tell me nothing wrong about Becky. I wasn't. I just like blah. Like for me, it was just like everything she did was kind of like I could not get into Becky. I can't. Like I'm not gonna lie about it. I'm not gonna show be like, oh, I'm such a big Becky fan. Nah, like not me, bro. I'm sorry. I was a Charlotte Flair girly. I was a Sasha Banks girly. I was a Bailey girly. Becky was just there. I'm glad she got everything she got. But so when I felt like she was over, I'm like, okay, she's over because people are finally starting to recognize her. Good for her. Them being involved just fucked everything up. Like it was just like they could have kept their life private. I understand they want, like, you can't avoid, like, you have to break kayfabe once in a while, like especially with couples, because we even like now we have a full reality show out of it, and that's fine. But like I would feel the same way about Bianca. Like when everybody's saying, "Oh, put Bianca and the Street Profits together," blah blah blah. Like no, no, thank you. No,
you don't have
to. Everybody shines by themselves. Just like everybody was like, oh well, I know they're making jokes about like CM Punk being AJ Lee's husband or the husband of AJ Lee. I love that. Leave it at that. Don't bring her back into the WWE and put her in the storyline. If you put Andrade and Charlotte together, I will scream at the TV. Don't you ever do that to me, because it's like you shouldn't blur your private life on TV. I get that is out there, is out in the open, but it's like some things they don't work together. Like it makes people uncomfortable because you take one wrong person to say the wrong thing about somebody, ain't gonna be no scripted whooping your ass. I'm whooping your ass for real. It's like if me and Justin are a couple outside of like TWG, and then we decide to go public, and then a podcaster comes for him, I'd be like, okay, talk to me because I talk back. He might not fight. Let's square the hell up. Like let's get it on like Dunk Kong. Like
Justin fights. It's just I pick and choose battles.
I'm jumping on the back. Like
But to add to your point, I think what didn't help that time too was the feuds that they got in, because you got to remember Seth worked, what was it, Constable Corbin or Authority Corbin, and Becky got fucking and Becky got Lacey Evans when no one wanted this except for Mr. Redacted. Like we were all like, why the fuck are we getting this when you have an entire roster of talented women Becky could work? You give us Lacey fucking Evans. And
she was the last of the gimmick show code that he had on,
Well, here's the thing, right?
Yeah, go ahead, Brian.
Dylan said it best. Seth and Becky versus Edge and Beth would have been better. Because I'm sitting here like and we done talked about this before. So I'm like, so what could have made it work, right? And I think if you would have put them with a top guy, top girl couple, right? If you put them in this feud, it makes sense because now it's a dominant household, right? I would even make the argument for Miz and Maurice, because Maurice is a former world champion and Miz is a former champion. It's a high level feud. Justice said it best. It was the feuds that they got. So then it made it like, and if you just didn't want to see it, or not so much making them team up all the time, but just kind of being like having each other's back. Like you see it now, right? When Seth might, because it's always something like when you watch it in backstage promo now, you got to pay attention to everything.
Yeah.
So it would have been like, sometimes he'll walk past her and be like, oh, okay, you good? Whatever, keep it moving. you know. So I think that could have worked. You know,
If
I don't
memory
mind.
serves me correct, was Maurice pregnant in 2019, and that's why they probably couldn't have done that? I'm thinking back to Raw 25.
I think
Oh,
so, yeah.
I think Maurice is pregnant, so they probably
Resurrect
couldn't have done Miz Maurice
Resurrect the
then.
Undertaker and him and Michelle McCool. You know, but at the end of the day, just
On
the top.
their level,
But I
then
see the vision, Brian.
Yeah,
I see
Pun
what you're saying.
intended.
Yeah,
I know
Yeah.
exactly what you mean too, because then it wouldn't have felt so forced. It would have been like,
Right.
wait, no, we're legit a better couple. Like, fuck you talking about? And then Edge and Beth could actually say, like, we're a Hall of Fame couple. Then it's like, okay, this is real. This is
For
not
the
just
world titles.
I
mind you,
think when
Becky, like
mind
Becky
you, when
and
that
Lacey
happened,
had no chemistry.
yeah,
Then
you think about
add Baron Corbin to that mix, and then it just
Yeah.
was horrible.
I think about the fact that I think a lot of people wanted it to work the way that the Daniel Bryanson and Brie Bella with Stephanie McMahon thing worked, and how that also tied into his feud with Triple H coming out of WrestleMania. I think a lot of people wanted it to work that way, but like you can't make the same dish perfect every single time. Like sometimes your ramen bowl gonna be the most savory, and sometimes you're gonna add a little bit too much pepper and too much salt in the next batch. It ain't gonna always come out perfect every time you do it yourself. So it was just that type of
world
situation.
champion in Brie.
Exactly. Like you got just not. It's just it's not gonna always work. It is what it is.
Yeah, it's like your chicken parm may be good, but you're using different ingredients, different chicken, different pasta, and that shit's
You
not
try and
always
use a
gonna come
different
out.
pasta sauce, and you know damn well you ain't supposed to be using it.
Hey,
it's
using
going to taste
different
different.
ovens, it's not gonna hit the same.
You know you're supposed to use marinara. You went and bought some with some extra roasted tomato and extra garlic. No damn well you're supposed to buy the marinara or the baka sauce. That's just how it is.
You decided to put raisins in the chicken parm. Why?
Oh my gosh.
You got to like kick out the club just because.
Yo, so somebody tweets that I actually like raisins and potato salad. I said the door.
Well, we got a bigger club tonight, and he want to act crazy like he still can't get out. It might take a little bit longer to get to the door.
we can't Jeffrey him out. We just gotta slow roll. Like, yeah, you gotta go outside and check on your car. Yeah, and then just close the door.
Nah, it's gonna be like a concert where it's like the mosh pit, and you have me on top of everyone. And everyone's just moving me towards the door, and then just throwing me out like fucking
You can't be acting like that in the club. What's wrong with you? And then you still acting like that. You know what we're gonna do? Call Solo.
Oh yay!
Oh Lord, consensual thumbing? Nah, no thanks.
You said consent.
You
know what? I think
she about to get the button, but he needs to stop.
Just, so that sound for those new to the fan club is when I have to kick someone out the fan club temporarily. 9.9 times out of 10, it is Justin. Because he is always in full form, and that is why we love him, and he is
remember me.
Oh my god. I have another question for y'all.
Oh boy. Yeah, boo.
How do we feel about his feud with The Fiend? Seth Rollins and The Fiend. How do we feel about it?
Wish we could have got it back.
Sorry.
It ended up good at the end, but that Hell in a Cell match is like one of those, like, I want to forget this. Like, you treated The Fiend like Michael Myers, and you still couldn't. It's like, bro.
What frustrates me about The Fiend is that it seems like every time they wanted Bray to do something along those lines, like, it was meant to be like, it could have gone further, it could have fought further, and then it just came to a screeching halt, because after that, it came to a halt, and I was just like, I'm tired of every time they push that character in him, because if they would have kept it like longer, like as long as they kept him and like Seth and Kevin Owens, I wanted it to be the same thing with him and The Fiend. Like, they never wanted it to stay longer, and that's just one thing that I don't miss about that section of WWE. Like, they could have just kept it longer, and they felt like they didn't want to. So that was the only dismomentum. I enjoyed it, but that was the only like thing that disappointed me about it. It could have went a little longer.
It
I
felt like
agree.
Bray had a legitimate vision for that character, and Mr. Redacted was never on board with it.
Right.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Like like they should have just literally let it keep going. It could have evolved into something else, and people would have it would have been something memorable. But they always used to stop him short, just
Right.
like. And I love Alexa Bliss, but like for example, the Playhouse, the Five Friends, she didn't. We ain't need her. We ain't need her.
We did not need
I was
her.
We
okay
didn't
with
need her.
Alexa with him though.
No, I
I
was
was
not.
okay
It
with
threw
that.
me
Randy
after
to
a
death.
And
while,
then they made him feel like they were
but
separate, which I understand. We understand now why, because he wasn't there that much. But then they she was involved, and then she wasn't involved, and then she was just coming out, and then
and
it
then
was
she
just
kept it
Lily.
going. Yeah, like it got
Yeah.
a little like messy in my opinion as well. And with the real quick about the braid thing, I think it always be like every time it felt like, okay, we got this. And then something happened, and I don't know if it was because certain people weren't on board with it. I think it was because it was that conflict of whose creative is it? Is it Bray Wyatt's creative or is it the company's creative? And I think it's like, oh, we're all good, 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 good. And then it's just like, oh, no, you think this should happen? And then you get the fucking Hell in a Cell match with Seth Rollins, who was very upset about that finish. Like there's rumors that he was backstage, yelling, at people. You can even kind of see it on his face. You can feel the crowd die. Like it just was just so lackluster, and the hype around what it could potentially be. We had to get used to the red light. Like that was weird, like it was just a lot of different things. And like I said, of course, rest in peace, Bray. Like if we could have gotten that in this new iteration where even the Fiend felt more real self-realized, and now Seth Rollins now doing the best work that he's ever done in his very lengthy career, it could have been really good.
Right.
But I think that's probably like we were mentioning earlier, like it's very hard to find a bad Seth Rollins match, but
Andre.
that might be just the one.
And I think the reason for that is, for me personally, that was during the time where WWE was just shoehorning matches into Hell in a Cell into the Hell in a Cell when it didn't need it. Like there
Because
was
they
no
were trying.
reason
They
for
thought
it.
that. Yeah.
It's like
I think
they're
they thought
just
Hell in a
starting their
Cell was
feud.
good,
Why
though.
the fuck are they going into Hell in a Cell when they're just beginning their feud? This is just getting started. Like Hell in a Cell, you use that to really end a feud where it's just like a blood feud. We gotta throw you in the cell, and you guys just gotta settle this once and for all. That made no sense. And that was during a stretch where WWE was shoehorning a lot of matches into Hell in a Cell, because if we're going to have this pay-per-view, we got to have more than one match. It's like, no, you have the right match in the cell and everything else does not have to be in the cell. But that was just, from 2016 on to about 2021, it was just like, we got to shoehorn things into Hell in a Cell. It's like, for what? Because all in everything, the match suffers, and sometimes the feud suffer as a result. And Seth and Fiend, you started off with a shit platter, and now they have to play catch up to try to make it into something.
Yeah.
Real quick, I just want to address the comment that says Miss Elizabeth and Macho Man Randy Savage worked. Watch Dark Side of the Ring and realize that there was a lot of shit going on backstage that will probably make you realize why I say what I say. They shouldn't do that with real life couples on television, because they did that, but then you look at all the backstage stuff that happened and you're like, maybe not. Because Mr. Redacted, another thing that Mr. Redacted wanted that totally backfired behind closed doors.
What you say?
I was just thinking of when Macho Man confronted Hogan.
Exactly.
How
You got jealous eyes.
Like,
oh yeah, you need to slap into a Slim Jim and stay the fuck away from Elizabeth.
No pukes to the left.
Hogan was like, Hogan was like, excuse me, I don't want your woman. You paranoid ass.
That was one of the greatest stories ever told. Now, imagine that doing social media, the mega.
Linda Hogan was literally like, Miss Elizabeth called me in the middle of the night and was like, I left him. Like, I'm out. I moved out.
We would have definitely been like, Macho made points. Hashtag justice for Macho Man.
Yo, that part.
I'm telling you, the Iron Sheik ain't never been wrong. But the Iron Sheik wasn't wrong. I'm sorry. But yeah, it disappointed me that they ended that. I was like, Kim and like fucking Constable Corbin. Don't ever bring me that shit ever again. Corbin now is my favorite
Marcus
Corbin.
just said the
If we're
same
gonna talk
thing.
about like don't ever bring me that shit back. Leave that shit in the box. Put that in the box.
But for all points, Corbin is somebody I give him credit, but you stick with him. You know, he's a good hand because you see what he's doing now. You know, I know that's your favorite
I like this
team
Corbin.
ever, Seindole. I know we
Wolf
know
dogs
you
on the attack.
love the Wolf Dogs.
And it came out matching yesterday. I was like, yes, finally.
But I will give flowers for broke ass Corbin though.
I love
Corbin was entertaining
Corbin.
as fuck.
But listen,
I like King Corbin too.
Me too.
But that's what I say. No, but that's when I say it's all like they like look at the timeline. Like you're literally getting different versions of different people. Like Constable Corbin, the lone. What was he like? The lone wolf.
But when he became a constable and he cut his hair,
King Corbin, broke ass Corbin, lucky happy Corbin. You know, Spear of Days or whatever. The Wolf Dogs. Like it's all transition.
When he put on a shirt and stopped showing his emoji stomach. That's when I was happy.
I mean, it was here. It was that Labor Day when Becky hit. I mean, Bailey hit Becky with the chair. Corbin was wrestling, and the crowd was like, "Corbin sucks. He really, really sucks." And then he just like on instinct grabbed him, and he's like, "Out of Corbin's good. He's really, really good." And this after he wins the match, he puts on the King of the Ring crown, and it was that moment. It's like, yo, he got to become the King of the Ring. Like. They had to have this whole tournament for him, but we could have kept him far away from Seth Rollins.
Yeah,
like, because he's
don't ever do that to me again.
To the title picture.
Who booked that match? I'm gonna sit in the chair and be like, who booked this?
Mr. Redacted.
I want to have a conversation. Don't do it again. How about that? No, thank you.
No, thank you.
Thank you.
I love the crew. What are some of your last thoughts and appreciations of the Seth freaking Rollins? I think we can all agree that he is absolutely Hall of Fame. You know, it's already written in the stars. But what's your lasting words about Seth freaking Rollins?
I'm happy he finally gonna get his main event. I mean, his WrestleMania marquee matchup. You know, when he said to Stone Cold he wanted to be on the marquee, it was bittersweet because the year he would have been, it was Kofi Mania, but more importantly, it was Becky's time. So now, you know, I know there's numerous ways, and I was like, okay, it's gonna be Shua and him and Drew night one, but we all know like the bloodline story is the story, and I'm glad he's weaseled his way into it because him at that presser show, like you just put him anywhere, and he can cook, just in the wrong era.
But somebody had to do it though, in order for him to get to where he was. He had to go through what he's going through, and like he said, like him is funny because I can literally say, listen, I put this on my back. Like a lot, like the term I'll put it on my back is not just I'm carrying the weight, like I'm carrying the weight for reasons because I like to do this. He's definitely, when I think of him saying I got it on my back, I think of Seth Rollins. I think of all the people who did. I think of the Kenny Omegas. I think of the Seth Browns. Like they're on that generation of these are the guys that literally went out there and they're like, I don't care how it's going to work or when it's going to work, but this shit going to work for me. I don't care what none of you think, say, or what is going to work, and it's worked for him no matter what he's done. And when you really think about it, he's done in a decade almost a decade what people take after a decade, 15, 20 years to try and accomplish. He's done it all, and he still has a long way to go.
Yep.
So I'm gonna sit back and see what else he gonna do.
Same.
I think my last thought, my bad. Last thought is gonna be by the time he hangs it up for good, we're gonna look at him in the same light as Roman. I know, I hear you, Brian. I understand you, but it took Tribal Chief for people to really come around on Roman versus we're going to look at the totality of Seth's resume and we're really going to give him his flowers when he decides to hang it up. And we'll be like, bro, we're blessed that we got the both of you at the same time. Just like we were blessed to get Stone Cold and The Rock at the same time. Just like we were blessed to get Brett and Sean at the same time.
100% true. And I think the one thing too is he definitely was that next era of wrestling, that indie darling who's gonna come in and also bring like the indie style of wrestling too, of like that fat, like I don't know how to explain it, but somebody tweeted it like last week and was saying like how match quality went up when Seth came to the main roster, where you just felt like, because you got to keep up with him.
Yeah.
And you know, before all his knee injuries, it was just like it was like, wait,
and now it's like a factory of them. Like now you literally have these young ones from NXT, and I talk about it every week. Like you're literally about to push all the 2.0, all of Vince's 2.0 kids are about to be pushed to the main roster. It's make or break. You already seen they got Braun Breaker doing double duty. You gonna have to now find somebody who's already seasoned enough to keep up with him. Think about that. And that was the same thing that happened with Seth. It's the same thing with the US Championship tournament. Same thing with Austin Theory. And even though it was a push, it's a joke on how he's Vince's boy or whatever. But like, look at Austin Theory's run in NXT. There are people that are like, damn, like he really got the charisma. He really got the stature. He really has physique. How we going to compete with that? Like, listen, Randy Orton came back looking like a snack. But I doubt he was coming back looking like a snack because he was on vacation. He came back looking like that because he was like, I got to compete with I want at least a couple of more years, 7 more years under my belt. I got to compete with what they got cooking downstairs. So when I think of that, I think of Seth Rollins was the first of like, all right, we gotta compete with what they cooking downstairs. And he's the first dish coming up the stairs. So I can appreciate him for being, listen.
You got a highlight reel of references.
Like Proto I need to be like that girl on TikTok that every time somebody say a clap back or a comeback, she whip out her notebook. She be like,
"Look, we got a logger in the club somewhere. Log all
right." No,
but
seriously.
literally, he's. I don't say he's the prototype for no reason. You look at it, he literally like and that's what keeps companies like WWE going and the business itself going, because you don't want the same thing twice, let alone 20 times.
Right.
For the Bang Bang Gang.
Well, right before that, big news, Darby relinquished the tag team titles because obviously Sting retired. So
give it to the Gun Club.
I mean, Tony said, like, why not keep defending and go find another partner? He's like, bro, my partner was Sting. How the fuck do I follow that?
Oh, not me missing Sting all of a sudden, and I never cared in the first place. Oh my god!
Are we allowed to kick out the host?
Oh, Sting. Nah. That came off way harsher.
That came out super harsh.
It's not that I didn't care in the first place. It was just like, oh, Sting. But now that he's gone, I'm like, oh, Sting.
Speaking of, I didn't know. I forgot that until Justin brought up MSG. I forgot that him and Sting. I forgot that Seth and Sting had a match at one point at MSG, like a while ago.
Yeah, when they had that match, Seth tried to kill him.
I about to say, yeah, we try to forget the Night of Champions match. That's why we
about we got this run.
To actually, that never happened. I don't know what that is.
She's like, I don't remember that.
I like the and if Neville returns, Neville and Rollins, because he wouldn't be Neville, he'd be Pac.
I don't want. I wanted the way they trying to push on Pierce. Put that on Pac. Let him come back as Pac. I don't want no Aaron Neville. I don't want no Neville. I don't want none of that. I want Pac. I want the bastard. That's what I
amazing. When that dude grew a beard, I was like, oh, he don't look like a cartoon character.
Ooh, and that could be a great story too. It'll be like, I never forgot that I almost won the title, but your fucking foot was on the rope. I never became champion, and that led to me becoming the bastard.
Listen, the Great Migration is happening again because Sean Spears, freaking, they yelling 10, and he's like, I'm not no damn 10. Like, I'm trying to tell y'all. Yeah, I'm just here to make sure Rich Holland gets his lickings in. Like, everybody who's coming in, like I said, back to stop it, Justin. Everybody who's going to be coming in, even in the business, especially people that are learning under Seth Rollins, like, and then think about that too. Seth Rollins is teaching people what he did to make him him.
Right. I mean, there's no one better to learn from than Seth Rollins because he
I think
literally.
Karrion Kross went to school, didn't he?
I
Oh,
could see him
did he?
getting some reps. I don't know. I don't think he started there, but I could see him.
Mhm.
But like you said, look at all them NIL kids. Somebody like a Obafemi getting to learn from Seth Rollins.
Right.
Mhm.
Because these kids are hungry.
Somebody like a
So,
Riley Osborne that could literally be the next Seth Rollins. Somebody like even not even Carmelo Hayes, like a Trick Williams, or even Lexus King finally getting advice from someone not trying to remind him who his daddy is. Seth can pull in and be like, listen, I've been where you were. I was at a different company. Like, this is what you could do. Like, who's already doing great character work,
mhm.
in my opinion, because he's convincing me that he's a Tiger King douchebag. So it's working somewhere. So just think of that. They've already probably they in the halls. It's gonna be that you're gonna hear the rumblings of those who made WWE what it is, and it wouldn't surprise me that Seth Rollins is one of them.
Seth
Great.
Rollins and Penta.
See,
Yeah,
I mean,
I'm good on
anyone,
that.
Rollins and anyone, everyone,
Everybody.
everybody, line them up.
I'm
Like,
still.
have a 5-star match with all of them, and that's what we really love and appreciate about Seth Rollins, and why we had to kind of put the spotlight on him, because he is finally where he's always wanted to be. He's performing at the top of his game, and at the same time, he's like not the spotlight of everything, and that is why we needed to kind of take time out this week for fan club and say, let's give Seth Rollins his flowers. We were able to talk dream matches tonight. We talked our greatest matches and moments, our what we like about the different iterations of Seth Rollins, what he means for the future of the business, his career as a workhorse, his love for the company, and being, a WWE superstar. So, and we also got into things that we didn't really like too much, and we all came to the consensus that we're still heavily invested in everything he's doing. It still feels like he has so much more to go, and that is what makes him so exciting to watch, and why I think he is absolutely one of the GOATs for sure. He is good at everything. So for those, I noticed we have a lot of people in the building. If you are new to hashtag TWG Fan Club, we are here every Wednesday night on Twitch and now Twitter Spaces, and we talk wrestling. Fans, we just talk about wrestling, our favorite moments, things we like, things we don't like, things we love, and I don't even know, what should we do next week? We're on the road to WrestleMania. So I would love if, especially the newbies, some of our VIPs, give us some suggestions of what you guys want to talk about on the road to WrestleMania. How many Wednesdays do we have until the biggest
3
night?
We have three.
We have 3 fan clubs.
We have 4 because first week of April, unless we're not doing one for Mania week.
Yeah, that might be tough.
That'll be hard because we will be in Pennsylvania doing what we got to do. So we got 3 fan clubs before Mania week. So I want to hear from you guys. What do we want to cover? We've done wrestlers, we've done feuds, we've done WWE Network Appreciation Night, TV shows, documentaries. I don't know if we've done that yet. But yeah, we want to just get together and talk wrestling. So let us know what we should talk about.
Deal.
What's up?
WrestleMania entrances.
Ooh,
I love a good WrestleMania entrance.
Everybody wants the AJ Lee Appreciation Night. Every single time you X, somebody adds that in the chat. I've never, and it's no shade, no tea. Y'all know AJ Lee's my girl, But it wasn't until Punk came back that I saw a lot of appreciation for her, which I dig that. But we ain't got that much time. It ain't enough time. I'm sorry.
Did an AJ Lee Appreciation Night? No.
Nah, not appreciation.
No.
Okay, so maybe I'm thinking about the spot that we did.
Remember when we did the NXT Appreciation Night? We talked about her competing and how she should have won, and how I feel like she was robbed because they really wanted Caitlyn to win.
Yeah. Okay, so we've got some pretty good suggestions here in the comments. 4 sides of the ring, worst WrestleMania match.
We already did wrestling books, didn't we?
No.
I don't think we did wrestling books.
No, I thought we did.
Yeah, I'm not sure, but I think that'll be a good one. I am going to, of course, plug that we are doing a virtual book club to talk about Becky Lynch's memoir. It comes out March 26th. She's doing a bunch of signings, so make sure you go to beckylynchbook.com and get a copy of the book, of course, so you can have it for book club. But also, what's up?
Why don't we do like a decade appreciation night? Like a certain era in wrestling
era. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I could talk about Dom all night long.
I definitely can't. I definitely will be on set to do a Dom appreciation night. Yes. He's killing the game. Congratulations to him too. Reportedly, he's getting married this week.
Oh, congratulations, Dom.
Did you say he told Gunther he hit like a bitch?
Oh shit.
Yo, I'm not gonna hold you. Like that match. I was like, they could run this back.
I thought it was gonna be like similar to a squash match, but it was very good.
Listen, he already has my respect as being a North American Championship. There's nothing else he could do wrong. Yes, I would like that.
Oh my God. Okay, so are we taking notes of all of these topics? Because these are really good. See,
you already know Justin's on it.
Justin's putting it in the notes. So how about
in the Google Doc too?
That would be good.
That for our fan club stuff.
How about we do WrestleMania entrances next week? Mm-hmm. So everyone come back to the fan club. We're going to talk about our favorite, most memorable WrestleMania entrances. And it's about to be WrestleMania 40. So you got a lot of options to choose from. And also, this is an excuse for you to go back and watch old WrestleManias. I mean, like, come on.
When they used to come out on the cart.
Oh my God, the cart.
The cart. Yeah.
Oh, this is a good one too. All right, so we're gonna do a WrestleMania fan club, and we're gonna get into all of these different things. So how about we do that the Wednesday before WrestleMania, and that'll probably be a little bit of a longer fan club because we're gonna really get into the nitty gritty. We're gonna celebrate 40 years of WrestleMania.
Yeah, I got my PhD in WrestleMania. It's not too many things I can say I'm an expert on, but WrestleMania is one of them.
Yeah.
Okay. So let's do that. And then the weeks in between, we'll celebrate women's wrestlers because it is Women's Empowerment Month. Friday is International Women's Day. # Invest in Women because that is the theme this year. So yeah, we will do that. And I want to again just thank everyone who is tuning in, everyone that is new to the fan club, all of our returning VIPs, Rakarsha, Andre, Dylan, Black Thoughts, Four Sides of the Ring, Dylan, Matt, Reichel, everyone. Thank you so much for tuning in. I want to thank, of course, my crew for always joining me on Wednesday nights. This is again like my favorite night of the week just because I get to talk wrestling with some of my favorite people in the whole world. So where can everyone find you guys?
Well, you can find me on all social media platforms at It's Justin Rich. You can find me here Wednesday nights live on Those Wrestling Girls Twitch channel for TWG Fan Club with myself. These three beautiful, amazing, intelligent co-hosts of mine who don't kick me out every fucking week.
You know how to behave, you don't get kicked out.
You can catch me Tuesday nights, Twitter Spaces, on Black Wrestling's handle for Turnbuckle Talk, aka The Buckle. Myself, Mimi, and Corey, we talk all things wrestling. You can catch me from time to time on True Heel Heat Sports and True Heel Heat Wrestling. Both those channels are located on YouTube. We talk sports, wrestling, all that fun stuff. We here, we outside, we active. It's WrestleMania season. Philly, we coming. We coming.
It's gonna be lit.
Mm-hmm. It is I, Brian H. Waters, and you can follow me at Brian H. Waters on all social media platforms. But make sure you check out this week's Wednesday Worldwide, where we talked about what if Cena would have turned heel as he said he was supposed to in 2012 in his run against The Rock. We also talked about what if, it was Chad Gable instead of Jason Jordan, who was Kurt Angle's son. And then, of course, Rock Solo Thumb Theory. What does this mean? What does The Rock do? Is it loser or is it the thumb? So, but tonight on the Wrestling Realm Now podcast, we will be talking about Sting and give our appreciation to the man they call Sting. That's the old version for y'all young whippersnappers out there back in the WCW days. I've had way too much coffee in a prime today.
Sir.
So
Yeah.
I'll close it out. But make sure you check out Breaking Through Glass Ceilings on my YouTube channel, youtube.com/Rewards Productions. I talked about LeBron James and is it his fault that Bronny James has all these high expectations?
I love that. And thank you, Four Sides of the Ring.
Thank
See
you.
you next
Shout out to them. They
time.
got a tournament going. And
Yeah, I saw
Championship Culture is in the finals.
Oh, nice. Very nice. So
Yeah, if they don't win, they're gonna whoop like Roman used to whoop the Usos.
Whoop that trick. Whoop that trick. Whoop that trick. Whoop that trick. It is, last but not least, is your honorary wrestling girl, Seindole B. You can catch me from time to time every Wednesday with the 3 best friends that anybody can have. I'm gonna sing it again. The 3 best friends that anybody can have every Wednesday here for TWG Fan Club on Twitch and on Twitter Spaces. Also on TWT YouTube, Twitch, Twitter Spaces, and my personal channels. We do Watch What Happens NXT every Tuesday before the NXT broadcast. This past Tuesday, I want to thank my other 2 illustrious co-hosts, those wrestling girls themselves, Miss CRISTA and Queen P.R. up here, for stopping by and watching NXT Roadblock. Very good episode. Lots of fun, lots of laughs, lots of great reactions. Peace to everybody in the chat who tuned in. Also, a special announcement. You had to be on the fan club to hear this. You heard it here first. But I may or may not be having certain conversations with a certain someone about a certain NXT championship belt line on a certain channel on YouTube. But stay tuned for that type of news. But other than that, you can always follow me for that news on all my social media platforms, which are, I'm not going to do the whole KR double square AIS. I can't do all that. But you can find me on Twitter. You can find me on Twitter. You can find me on Twitter at Reload Via Film. You can find me on Instagram at reload.relive. You can find me on TikTok and on YouTube at Reload Relive. You can find me on Twitch at Reload Relive. You can find me in Philadelphia going to Chicky Pete's because I got to meet a certain wrestling show there. And you can also find me spying on whatever Patricia put out as a reference for clothing because I still don't have enough merch. So you could just find me also getting ready for WrestleMania season.
Yes, I love it. Yes, I will be putting together that guide to help everybody prepare for WrestleMania week. Check out the latest edition of my Words with PR blog, and it does share some things that I'm already doing to prepare. And again, next week we are doing WrestleMania entrances for Fan Club. The week after that, we're celebrating women's wrestling, and then the week after that, which is the Wednesday before Mania week, we are doing a celebration of 40 years of WrestleMania. We have so much going on that I love that with such a new audience that we get to share. You know, Tuesdays we have Watch What Happens NXT. Fridays we have Sound Off School and Sessions with Krista B and Christina and Pablo and sometimes Seindole and Justin. We have Justin is literally everywhere. True Hill, you know, you heard it all. But we're everywhere, and we're constantly growing the network. We're constantly growing the community, and that's very important to us. And all of this culminating into Philadelphia is just an amazing thing. I think the best place to see all of us will probably be at Chicky and Pete's. Because that is where it's at that week. Get your Wale Mania tickets. Follow me on TikTok, Twitter, and Instagram at Queen3_PR. Show some love. Like, that's all we do here in the fan club. And I hope to see everyone here next week.
Same time,
Love
same
you
place.
guys.
Bye.